Chapter 528. As soon as Ning Cheng's words came out, the expression of the handsome man beside Ruan Mingshu changed slightly before he looked at Ruan Mingshu in doubt. Ruan Mingshu was also slightly startled. She did not expect Ning Cheng to ask such a question. For a moment, she could not find the right words to answer Ning Cheng. Ning Cheng was not in a hurry and still waited with a smile on his face. He did not want to disgust Ruan Mingshu, but to tell Ruan Mingshu. Cooperation is cooperation, don't use any honey trap or any gentle tricks to put on an act. You were so gentle in the revolving Jade City, as if you were a couple. Why didn't you call me when you ran away? If we want to cooperate, then just say it directly, don't use other means to fool me. I'm not a fool. I'll go to Lucky Heaven City first. If junior apprentice Sister Mingshu has something to say, just send me a message. Seeing Ruan Mingshu about to speak, Ning Cheng simply stopped in front of her. He just wanted to remind Ruan Mingshu not to treat him as a fool. As for how Ruan Mingshu answered, he did not care. Wait, senior apprentice brother Ning, I have something to talk to you about. If you want, we can stay in the same room. Ruan Mingshu called out to Ning Cheng. Ning Cheng looked at Ruan Mingshu in surprise. He thought that Ruan Mingshu would step down, but he did not expect Ruan Mingshu to say such a thing. The handsome male cultivator beside Ruan Mingshu, whose stiff expression suddenly disappeared, showed a relaxed smile and spoke, Mingshu, I'll take my leave first. Watching the handsome male cultivator walk out of the rest stop, Ruan Mingshu stared into Ning Cheng's eyes and spoke, Senior apprentice brother Ning, if you are satisfied now, please follow me to my room. Ning Cheng felt a little strange in his heart, but he did not care about it. He followed Ruan Mingshu to her room and found that Ruan Mingshu did not live in a double room, but a single room. Senior apprentice brother Ning, I know you must be blaming me for not telling you before I left. In fact, if I had delayed even a little bit, I would not have been able to leave. You should also be very clear about the horrors of the starry skies spirit-devouring rat tide. Even if I could take you away, I would not be able to reach the second floor. Moreover, I know that you would not come with me. Ruan Mingshu spoke in a calm tone, as if Ning Cheng's words did not make her angry. Not waiting for Ning Cheng to answer, she continued, You are very good to your friends, although I do not know much about you, but I have spent some time with you. I knew that you wouldn't leave your friends behind and go with me, so I left on my own. Besides, even if you're willing to come with me, I don't have the ability to take you away. Ning Cheng did not come here to listen to Ruan Mingshu's explanation, but Ruan Mingshu's sincere and gentle explanation made Ning Cheng not know what to say. The person who just left is called Zhao Yanxiang. Ruan Mingshu took the initiative to speak again. Ning Cheng suddenly understood, so it was him, I know. Manor Lord Ruan asked me to help keep an eye on him. I think he's the one they're talking about. Ruan Mingshu smiled, My father thinks that I like him, that's why he said that to you. Actually, he likes me very much, and I don't have any antipathy towards him. That's all. Moreover, senior apprentice brother Yan Xiang will also be coming with us to the Time Wilderness. I don't care who else is coming with us. I just arrived here, so you need to tell me when to enter the Time Wilderness and how to get in. Ning Cheng did not want to ask about these messy relationships. Ruan Mingshu took out a jade strip and handed it to Ning Cheng before speaking, This is a jade strip with a map of the Time Wilderness. Our Orchid Burrow Celestial River's battleship was attacked by the Starry Skies spirit-devouring rat tide, and the Celestial River King suddenly disappeared for some unknown reason. Therefore, our Orchid Burrow Celestial River's participants, as long as you have a participation jade card, can enter the Time Wilderness once it opens. When Ning Cheng heard that the Orchid Burrow Celestial River King had left, he immediately felt shocked. The Orchid Burrow Celestial River King must have left because of Imperial Concubine Xianyu. Maybe he went after Imperial Concubine Xianyu. What should he do? In case the Orchid Burrow Celestial River King caught up with Xianyu, regardless of whether Xianyu died or not, Jing Wuming would definitely die. Unfortunately, he could only worry about it. With his cultivation, he could not help at all. Striking Order Starry Skies has 12 celestial rivers, which is one of the smaller starry skies. This time, there are more than 300,000 cultivators entering the Time Wilderness, and many of them know about the perpetual moon lake. Therefore, our chances are not very good. After Wan Mingshu finished her explanation, she quietly waited for Ning Cheng to ask. Ning Cheng then realized that the perpetual moon lake was not a secret of the Ruan clan, but an open secret. What kind of cooperation was this? 12 celestial rivers should have around 120,000 participants, how come there are already 300,000 participants? Also, my cultivation is still too low. If only the three of us form a team to enter the perpetual moon lake, I estimate that we would not be able to find it. Not even our bones would be left behind. Ning Cheng's tone revealed some disappointment. Wan Mingshu did not care about Ning Cheng's tone and spoke in a calm voice. The Orchid Burrow Celestial River is also a weak celestial river within the Striking Order Starry Skies, with only 10,000 participants. Moreover, the other celestial rivers have far more participants than the Orchid Burrow Celestial River. In addition, although many people know about the Perpetual Moon Lake, not many people know the exact location of the Perpetual Moon Lake. Therefore, although our chances are not high, we still have a higher chance compared to the others. Okay, I got it. After the Time Wilderness opens, you can just send me a message. Ning Cheng stood up after saying that. Wan Mingshu did not move and spoke up, don't you live here? You only have one room here. Instead of you opening another room, it would be better for me to find a room by myself. A room, you can also sleep here. Wan Mingshu's words surprised Ning Cheng. Although Wan Mingshu had used some tricks on him, he always thought that this woman was relatively conservative. What did she mean by that? Ning Cheng found that Wan Mingshu's expression was very serious, without even a hint of mockery or sarcasm. He frowned for a moment before speaking up, I'll sleep here, what about you? Wan Mingshu looked at the bed and spoke with a slight smile, this bed is very big. Seeing Wan Mingshu's seriousness, Ning Cheng had to speak up, thank you, but I prefer to live in a room alone. If there is anything, just send me a message. Whether Wan Mingshu's words were true or false, Ning Cheng did not want to continue this hypocritical conversation with her. Seeing Ning Cheng's departing back, Wan Mingshu sighed and did not continue to speak. Instead, she took out a pot of wine and poured herself a cup. Wan Mingshu did not sit for long, when the handsome male cultivator who had left before appeared outside her room again. It was the Zhao Yanxiang that Wan Mingshu had mentioned to Ning Cheng. Wan Mingshu frowned slightly before putting away the wine. She then walked to the door and opened the restriction. Looking at Zhao Yanxiang standing at the door, she did not ask him to come in and sit down. Who is he? Zhao Yanxiang did not enter the room and only asked those 3 words. He entered the Time Wilderness with us, and is a partner of my Ruan clan. Wan Mingshu did not hide it. Zhao Yanxiang felt slightly relieved, Junior Apprentice Sister Mingshu, you are too kind. Why would you give such a person any face? If you wanted to sow discord between us, you could have just said no. Why did you have to make him step down? Wan Mingshu spoke up in a calm tone, I did not say any empty words. I intend to keep him in my room. Mingshu, you. Zhao Yanxiang's expression changed once again. Wan Mingshu did not explain anything. Zhao Yanxiang clenched his fists and spoke, why? Do you like him? What about me? Besides, even if you like him, with your personality, you would not let him live with you, would you? Wan Mingshu looked at Zhao Yanxiang softly and spoke, Senior Apprentice Brother Yanxiang, if you must say like, I like you more. Senior Apprentice Brother Ning is a good person, and I owe him. You owe him, and you want him to stay here. What kind of logic is this? Besides, what do you owe him? Zhao Yinxiang finally could not control his emotions. I don't owe him now, but I will soon owe him. Maybe, you will also owe him. Wan Mingshu shook her head, activated the restriction again, and slowly walked back to her room. She had her own principles. Ning Cheng had nothing to do with her. Moreover, after getting along with him, she understood that Ning Cheng was not a sinister person. She already wanted someone's life, so what was wrong with being a bit gentle and agreeing to other people's requests? Back in her room, Wan Mingshu took out the wine pot again. This time, she did not take out a wine cup. Instead, she took a few sips from the wine pot and murmured, maybe I'm not suitable to fight for anything in the starry skies. Her father and her friends all thought that letting a stranger die was the right thing to do. However, she still felt guilty in her heart. If she could not compensate for this guilt, it would affect her cultivation. No matter what Wan Mingshu meant, Ning Cheng did not continue to wander around Lucky Heaven City. Lucky Heaven City now had countless cultivators from across the starry skies. With his current cultivation, if he offended someone, it would not be enough. Ning Cheng stayed in his residence. Apart from communicating with Wasp King Graceful Star, he continued to explore his spiritual consciousness. He wanted to use his spiritual consciousness to construct a complete set of offensive methods. It's just that he didn't know much about the theoretical knowledge of cultivation. Every time, he would get stuck at a key point and have no way to explain it. On the other hand, Wasp King Graceful Star grew very quickly. Almost all the medicinal pills Ning Cheng refined in the past ended up being eaten by it. This fellow even started to eat the starry sky crystals. Time passed by quickly. Ning Cheng had already been in Lucky Heaven City for half a month, but he still had not received any message from Wan Mingshu. On this day, Ning Cheng was tempering his spiritual consciousness in his room in the rest stop when he suddenly heard a burst of screams and spatial fluctuations. Ning Cheng had not entered the starry skies for a day or two, so he had a good understanding of the big cities within the starry skies. No fighting, no trouble. However, these screams and spatial fluctuations indicated a large-scale fight and disturbance. If not for the strong celestial essence fluctuations, he would not have heard anything from his room. Ning Cheng immediately opened the restrictions and was about to go out to have a look when the rest stop's shop assistant quickly came up and stopped him. Friend, 2 Celestial Rivers cultivators are stirring up trouble outside. It's a big mess right now. You must not go out at this time, lest you get into trouble. Dare to cause trouble in Lucky Heaven City? Ning Cheng asked. Wasn't Lucky Heaven City the premier city of Striking Order Star Land? How could they cause trouble here? But the fact was that tens of thousands of cultivators were fighting on the spacious streets, killing a large number of cultivators and destroying rows of buildings. The shop assistant sneered, you'll know soon enough. Chapter 529. It didn't take long for Ning Cheng to realize it. A cold snort came from the air. Even Ning Cheng, who was staying inside the rest stop, felt his heart tremble. This cold snort felt like a hammer slamming into his chest, causing him to feel extremely uncomfortable. What a powerful cultivation, Ning Cheng had just thought of it when a huge hand slammed down. The next moment, the tens of thousands of cultivators who were still fighting turned into slag like ants. The street, which had turned into a chaotic pot of porridge a few seconds ago, turned empty and silent after the huge hand slammed down. Ning Cheng felt his scalp tingling. He could already imagine the power of a celestial river king. However, the owner of this hand was so powerful that he had never even thought about it before. This person should be comparable to the powerhouses he saw in the everlasting Blue Thunder City, right? Distant Exceptional Celestial River and Essence Continent Celestial River ignored the rules of Striking Order Starry Skies and started a group fight in Striking Order Starland. As such, these 2 celestial rivers are disqualified from entering the Time Wilderness. All cultivators involved in the fight will be punished with death. Distant Exceptional Celestial River King and Essence Continent Celestial River King will be punished with death. As for the celestial lords of these two celestial rivers, as long as they have any cultivators involved in the fight, they will be punished with death. As the giant hand disappeared, the voice in the air also faded away. Only the lingering sound lingered in Ning Cheng's ears. Ning Cheng sucked in a breath of cold air. This fellow was too domineering. Was this the striking order Starry Sky's emperor? In a group fight, he had executed tens of thousands of cultivators. At the same time, he had also killed many celestial lords and two celestial river kings. From this, it could be seen that within striking order Starry Skies, the striking order Starry Skies emperor was the truth. Without waiting for Ning Cheng to ask, everyone on the street bowed and shouted in unison, "Long live striking order Heavenly Emperor." It was not until a long time later that the street returned to its original state. Everyone still did what they were doing. No one showed any signs of abnormality even though tens of thousands of people had died. What was power? This was what true strength was like. Ning Cheng thought about his celestial novice cultivation and felt insignificant for the first time. With the striking order Starry Sky's emperor acting so domineeringly, Ning Cheng did not want to show off outside. He was just about to return to the hotel when his gaze swept past a pretty figure. When he saw the face of that beautiful figure, he almost called out the three words Su Yingde. However, Ning Cheng soon realized that this was not Su Yingde. Although Su Yingde was a top beauty, but she was still far from being as beautiful as the woman in front of him. She had big, bright, pitch-black eyes, skin as white as porcelain, and a beautiful face that looked like that of an innocent girl. It was hard to even speak loudly. She had such a pure and innocent face, yet she had an incomparably firm chest, which made it even more difficult for people to look away. Ning Cheng only glanced at it before moving his gaze away. This woman looked too much like Su Yingde, to the point that he almost mistook this woman for Su Yingde. Moreover, this woman had 4 celestial wheels behind her, indicating that she was at least a celestial bridge cultivator. Even if Su Yingde was a genius, it was impossible for her to become a celestial bridge cultivator in such a short time. You know me. Ning Cheng's fluctuating emotions and the look in his eyes had attracted the attention of this woman. She deliberately walked in front of Ning Cheng and looked at Ning Cheng from head to toe. She was sure that she had never seen Ning Cheng before, but when Ning Cheng saw her a moment ago, it was obvious that he knew her. Ning Cheng quickly spoke up, "I don't know, I just saw my friend coming over and felt a little excited." Saying that, Ning Cheng pointed behind this woman. Behind this woman, a woman with a veil over her face came over and walked towards Ning Cheng's side. The porcelain doll-like beautiful innocent girl did not leave. She deliberately stood next to Ning Cheng and waited for the woman with the veil over her face to walk in front of Ning Cheng before speaking up with a smile, "Is he your friend?" The woman with the veil over her face bowed to this innocent and beautiful girl, before speaking up in a soft voice, replying to Senior, "He is my friend Ning Cheng. We made an appointment to meet here." Ning Cheng secretly thanked this woman in his heart, while at the same time also admired this woman's clear mind. "Ning Cheng, that's a good name. I'll be leaving now, maybe I'll come back to see you in the future." The porcelain doll-like beautiful girl gave Ning Cheng a bright smile, revealing her perfect white teeth. After taking a few steps, she suddenly turned back and spoke to Ning Cheng, "By the way, I forgot to tell you my name. My name is Su Binglan, you have to remember it." After Ning Cheng heard the name, his body trembled, and a roar sounded in his head. Su Binglan, he was too familiar with this name. Wasn't this woman and Sang Yen famous throughout the Tian continent? The two women had fallen in love with the Heavenly Tao Academy's Yen Fenghua, which resulted in a grudge between them. It also resulted in the emergence of 2 major academies, the Floating Snow Palace and the Severing Emotions Tao sect. Su Anjin, who had a huge grudge against Ning Cheng, was a descendant of this woman. Su Yingde, who had a complicated grudge against Ning Cheng, was also a descendant of this woman. No wonder when he first saw this woman, he almost mistook her for Su Yingde. This woman looked so pure and lovely, innocent and brilliant, that people could not help but have a good impression of her. However, Ning Cheng was very clear that the women of the Severing Emotions Dao sect, after severing their emotions, would have countless men. In other words, this young and beautiful, pure and lovely Su Binglan, did not know how many men she had. Thinking of this, Ning Cheng almost felt as if he had swallowed a fly. In contrast, Ning Cheng's impression of the floating snow palace was much better than that of the Severing Emotions Dao sect. "Can you invite me in to sit?" The woman with the veil over her face on seeing Ning Cheng in a daze, spoke up with a smile. Ning Cheng immediately recovered and quickly spoke up, "Senior Qinyu, many thanks for your help just now." Ning Cheng had always had a good impression of this woman with the veil over her face. Back in the rest stop, if not for this woman, he would not have found an excuse to take off the robe with the spiritual consciousness tag. However, today, that somewhat unruly Cece was not with her. The woman with the veil over her face showed a slight smile. "I only have a celestial gatherer cultivation. My surname is Shen, you can just call me Qinyu from now on." "Alright, senior apprentice sister Qinyu, please come upstairs with me. I will be staying in this rest stop." Ning Cheng politely invited. After bringing Shen Qinyu to the room, Ning Cheng activated the restrictions before speaking up again, "Thank you." Shen Qinyu spoke up with a smile, "I just happened to pass by when I helped you. I did not expect that you would always be targeted by some experts." Ning Cheng understood the meaning behind Shen Qinyu's words, which meant that it was more than once. However, Ning Cheng did not admit to the previous incident. Once he admitted it, it would mean that he also knew that a heaven-seated expert had placed a spiritual consciousness tag on him. He would remember this woman's kindness in his heart. However, he did not want to talk about other things. After all, this was only the second time the two had met. "Actually, I came here today to look for you for something." Seeing that Ning Cheng did not speak much, even less than her, Shen Qinyu took the initiative to speak up. Ning Cheng smiled, "Senior apprentice sister Qinyu helped me. If I can help you, then I will definitely do my best." "Senior apprentice sister, please speak." "Okay." Shen Qinyu spoke up in a straightforward manner, "I know that you will also enter the time wilderness. I hope that you can help me in the time wilderness." Ning Cheng spoke up with an apologetic tone, "Senior apprentice sister Qinyu, although I really want to help you, my cultivation is still too low. I'm afraid that I can't help you. Moreover, junior apprentice sister Wan Mingshu and I have teamed up, so we can't part ways. No, you can definitely help me with this. I have a communication pearl here. If I need your help, I can send you a message. If you don't have the time, or are busy, you can just ignore my message." After saying that, Shen Qinyu held the communication pearl and looked at Ning Cheng calmly. She waited for Ning Cheng's answer. Ning Cheng did not know what Shen Qinyu was talking about, but why did he feel sure that he could help? Shen Qinyu could see that the white-robed man had left a spiritual consciousness tag on him. Moreover, Shen Qinyu could use a talisman to block a blow from a celestial river expert. From this, Ning Cheng understood that this woman definitely did not have a simple background. What did such a complicated person need his help for? Despite his doubts, Ning Cheng still took the communication pearl and spoke up with a smile, "Naturally, as long as I am free and can help you, I will definitely help." Although he did not say anything, whether he could help or not, it was up to him to decide. Shen Qinyu did not seem to hear Ning Cheng's words at all. She suddenly took off her veil and spoke to Ning Cheng with a smile, "Junior apprentice brother Ning, I will take you to a place tonight. You will definitely benefit a lot from it." Ning Cheng looked at the woman in front of him with a delicate appearance and wondered why she would wear a veil. However, he quickly understood what was going on. Could it be that only he was allowed to have a Dao artifact, while others did not? Obviously, this delicate face was not Shen Qinyu's original appearance. This woman was truly mysterious. "My cultivation is very low, and I don't like to go out. I'll just stay here and rest." Senior apprentice Sister Qinyu, you can go by yourself. Ning Qing politely refused Shen Qinyu's invitation. Shen Qinyu did not care about it and still spoke with a smile on her face. This is a Dao discussion gathering of Striking Order Starry Skies geniuses. All kinds of genius cultivators from various celestial rivers within the Striking Order Starry Skies are invited to this place. I also managed to get an invitation through someone else. If a rogue cultivator went to this place and listened to others talk about Dao cultivation and some Starry Skies spirit techniques, they would definitely gain a lot from it. This kind of harvest would be several times better than listening to one's own master or fellow disciples. After all, it does not originate from the same place. Moreover, the difference in cultivation is not too big. As such, the things one could comprehend and the difficulties one would encounter would also not be too far apart. Sometimes, with just a little bit of guidance from others, one would suddenly become enlightened. I think junior apprentice Brother Ning should go to this place. Building a cart behind closed doors would indeed reduce a lot of trouble. However, cultivating within the starry skies, one cannot be afraid of trouble, nor can one build a cart behind closed doors. In fact, Ning Cheng had already been moved by Shen Qinyu's words. Although his cultivation had stagnated, his understanding of spiritual consciousness cultivation methods had also stagnated at a certain point, with no way to go any further. He would always end up encountering a bottleneck that he could not break through. However, he could not break through this bottleneck. Okay, then many thanks, Senior Apprentice Sister Qinyu. I'll go with Senior Apprentice Sister Qinyu. Once Ning Cheng made up his mind, he would not hesitate for even half a moment. Chapter 530. The venue for the Dao discussion gathering was located in the most prosperous downtown area of Lucky Heaven City. Ning Cheng was not a person who had not seen the world. Therefore, when he followed Shen Qinyu into the Dao discussion venue, he immediately felt shocked by the luxury of this place. It was night time, but it was like daytime here. It was not the kind of daytime that was illuminated by lights, but a kind of natural daytime. The entire venue was filled with celestial charm, celestial cranes, rainbow bridges, flowing water, celestial bamboo, flowing wine, along with a variety of spirit fruits that could be picked at any time, along with beautiful women shuttling back and forth. This scene reminded Ning Cheng of the Peaches of Immortality. This was simply a knockoff version of the Peaches of Immortality. The participants hadn't all arrived yet, but they were already chatting loudly in groups of 3 to 5. They picked up the wine casually and picked all kinds of spirit fruits to eat. The scale looks very big. Ning Cheng spoke in a low voice. Shen Qinyu didn't have time to answer when she heard a cultivator next to her speak up. Of course, there are several celestial river kings coming over tonight. I heard that the Striking Order Starry Sky Emperor would also be present. Striking Order Heavenly Emperor would take this opportunity to see what kind of geniuses the Striking Order Starry Sky has. There was a hint of pride in the cultivator's tone. Clearly, being invited here was something to be proud of. Shen Qinyu smiled at Ning Cheng and spoke, "You can do whatever you want in the Dao discussion convention. You can find anyone to talk about Dao laws, and you can also enjoy the good wine and spirit fruits here. If you have any questions, you can also ask the maids around you. I also didn't expect that Striking Order Heavenly Emperor would come here. Remember not to use your spiritual consciousness to sweep out the Heavenly Emperor. I'll go greet a few of my acquaintances. You can sit anywhere you like." Ning Cheng quickly spoke up, "Senior Apprentice Sister Qinyu, I will be careful. Wasn't this just a gathering of the upper class?" He carefully looked around. If he felt that it was meaningful, he would continue to stay and listen. If he felt that it was meaningless, he would leave. Shen Qinyu felt very reassured by Ning Cheng's words. She knew that Ning Cheng was not a person who would cause trouble. Moreover, she could tell from Ning Cheng's actions that Ning Cheng chose to stay in the rest stop. After Shen Qinyu left, Ning Cheng walked up to a group of people talking loudly and listened to their discussion about the Tao. In just a few breaths, Ning Cheng's heart shook violently. Usually, it would take him a long time to figure out some very obvious principles, but here, with a simple sentence from someone else, he suddenly understood everything. Coming here tonight was the right choice. Ning Cheng felt excited in his heart. He did not stay here, he was ready to find a secluded place to sit down and listen carefully. Ning Cheng carefully bypassed the crowd. Some of these people were talking about the Tao of pills, some were talking about crafting artifacts, but most of them were talking about cultivation. Regardless of which school it was, regardless of what the other party talked about, after Ning Cheng listened to it, he felt a deep sense of enlightenment. Ning Cheng found a seat in the most remote corner of the Tao discussion hall. This place was relatively dark, and not many people came here. But for Ning Cheng, it was the best place. Here, his spiritual consciousness could listen to other people's discussion to its heart's content, and then extract the essence and discard the dregs, turning it into his own. His cultivation method was different from others. The mysterious yellow formless was formless and shapeless, allowing him to cultivate the flow of celestial essence that could change at any time and place. Therefore, he could learn from the strengths of various cultivation methods to make up for his shortcomings. Ning Cheng felt that he had only cultivated an internal strength cultivation method, and did not understand the mnemonic chants, as he crazily absorbed all kinds of cultivation tips. The Tao discussion assembly had not yet started, but Ning Cheng had already entered a state of immersion. He didn't need to discuss with others, as anyone's discussion, he could put forward the key parts that he needed. At this moment, Ning Cheng couldn't help but sigh in his heart. The mysterious yellow bead was heaven-defying, and the mysterious yellow formless was also heaven-defying. However, over the countless years, the various cultivation tips and methods that the Starry Sky seniors had sorted out were not inferior to the mysterious yellow bead. These tips and cultivation methods were the result of the accumulation of time and repeated verification by the predecessors, which made them incomparably precious. Ning Cheng glanced at Shen Qinyu in the distance and thanked her in his heart before immersing himself in the crazy absorption. As more and more people arrived at the Tao Discussion Assembly, the voices of the Tao Discussion Assembly also grew louder. Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness immersed itself in the voices of the Tao Discussion Assembly, but he didn't feel anything. His heart had formed a complete cycle. Initially, some of the scattered insights, now slowly linked together to form a Tao law system that belonged to him. Ning Cheng vaguely felt that although his cultivation had not progressed, if he were to find a place to go into seclusion for a year and a half, he would definitely be able to reach the next level. Sharpening a knife really did not delay the chopping of firewood. No one could understand Ning Cheng's mood at this time. "Welcome, Striking Order Heavenly Emperor." A voice woke Ning Cheng up. Ning Cheng suddenly stood up, only to find that the surrounding voices of the Tao Discussion Assembly had completely stopped. A melodious music resounded, and a middle-aged man in purple robes slowly walked into the venue between two rows of maids. Behind him were more than a dozen Starry Sky cultivators. Each of these cultivators had a celestial will behind them. The celestial will behind Striking Order Heavenly Emperor seemed invisible at first glance, but after a closer look, it turned out to be a round sun, which looked extremely dazzling. Ning Cheng retracted his gaze and stood in the corner with his head down, not daring to make any movements. He had personally witnessed Striking Order Heavenly Emperor's strength and power. Even though he had only seen an illusory hand, that hand was still a little too terrifying. Striking Order Heavenly Emperor walked to the middle of the Tao Discussion Assembly and sat down on a high-backed chair. Sweeping his gaze over the entire Tao Discussion Assembly, he then slowly spoke, "Everyone here is my Striking Order Starry Skies geniuses and elites. Whether a Starry Skies cultivator can reach the peak or not, it is inseparable from his or her nirvana realm. Today, almost all the cultivators here are going to enter the time wilderness for the trial. Therefore, while I congratulate you on your good luck, I also want to say a few words." The Tao Discussion Assembly turned silent, as everyone listened attentively to Striking Order Heavenly Emperor's words. Striking Order Heavenly Emperor nodded with satisfaction. "The universe is vast and boundless. My striking order starry sky is just a remote corner of this vast universe. In the entire starry sky universe, the best cultivation resources are not in my striking order starry sky, but in the vast universe. Unfortunately, our starry sky's strength is too low to compete for more good things. Over a long period of time, our starry sky's strength has continued to decline, and our status has also grown weaker. This time, my striking order starry sky is organizing the celestial scryer genius tryouts to select some of the talented cultivators to represent my striking order starry sky in the competition, to prove to the entire universe that my striking order starry sky is also one of the powerhouses in the universe. Enthusiastic cheers erupted, as everyone felt respect for striking order Heavenly Emperor's words. Striking order Heavenly Emperor even stood up and raised his voice. I came here today because I am also eager for the emergence of true geniuses from my striking order starry sky. Since my striking order starry sky's time wilderness is about to open, I specifically came to this Tao discussion assembly. I also hope that you will not let me down. I will be here to listen to your Tao discussion. If you have any questions, you can ask them. If you have any opinions, you can also speak them out. The Tao discussion assembly will now begin. As striking order Heavenly Emperor announced the start of the Tao discussion, Ning Qing felt the surrounding laws becoming clearer. It also allowed him to comprehend the various Tao laws more easily. Ning Qing felt excited and overjoyed in his heart. He naturally knew that this had something to do with striking order Heavenly Emperor. It would truly be a pity to miss such an opportunity. Ning Qing naturally would not participate in the Tao discussion assembly. Instead, like striking order Heavenly Emperor, he chose to listen. However, striking order Heavenly Emperor wanted to hear who had the most potential and who was more worthy of his attention. Ning Qing listened to everything. As long as he could absorb the Tao laws, he would sort them out. Therefore, it was normal for Tao discussion assemblies to have disputes. Some people even ended up fighting over these disputes. In such a place, striking order Heavenly Emperor would never stop it. Cultivators who fought over Tao laws could go to the Tao discussion stage alone. Even if one side died, it would not be considered as offending the Heavenly Emperor. As the day passed by quickly, the cultivators in the Tao discussion assembly still enthusiastically expressed their opinions. However, striking order Heavenly Emperor suddenly stood up. After a day of listening, he had already identified some of the geniuses in his heart. From now on, he would pay special attention to these geniuses. Cultivators like Ning Qing, who just sat in a corner and listened, obviously would not enter his eyes. The more talented a cultivator was, the more problems they would face. In such an occasion, a cultivator without a single problem, without a single opinion, would never be a genius. After striking order Heavenly Emperor left, the Tao discussion assembly not only did not weaken, but instead turned even more lively. Some male and female cultivators even started dancing wildly to express their inner joy. In this Tao discussion assembly, no one would care about such things. As long as both sides were willing, the Tao discussion assembly allowed it. Ning Qing still sat quietly in a dark corner. His spiritual consciousness listened to more than just the cultivation of Tao laws. He even listened to alchemy, artifact crafting, and talismans. Especially the Tao of array formations, Ning Qing listened carefully. Back in graceful Star Mainland, because of the many spiritual grasses, Ning Qing's alchemy level had skyrocketed. At this time, he was already a grade 9 heavenly pill grandmaster. However, after entering the starry skies, he obtained fewer high-grade spiritual grasses, and he did not have many medicinal pills for cultivation. Moreover, his enthusiasm for alchemy had also weakened. Besides, he did not have much time to spend on alchemy. However, Ning Qing's interest in the Tao of array formations had also increased a lot. The Tao of array formations had always helped him, not only in fights, but also in ordinary times. The higher one's attainment in the Tao of array formations, the higher one's survivability. The array formation masters who appeared in this Tao discussion assembly all had high attainments in the Tao of array formations. Moreover, each of them had their own heritage. Ning Cheng was definitely not someone who had to explore the Tao on his own. As a grade 1 celestial array master, Ning Cheng could learn a lot of knowledge from the various Tao of array formations that he normally would have to spend a lot of time to comprehend. Ning Cheng, who had completely forgotten about everything else, did not notice a handsome male cultivator staring at him and muttering to himself with a frown, "Why is this person here?" Chapter 531. Ning Cheng was currently immersed in a state of realization, sorting out some of the problems he faced in his cultivation. After this Tao discussion ended, as long as he could take some time to go into seclusion, his cultivation and strength would experience a qualitative improvement. Just then, a dangerous aura surged over. Ning Cheng did not even think about it and punched out. In a hurry, he did not hold back at all. Bang! A celestial essence explosion erupted, followed by a spray of blood. Ning Cheng's punch sent a medium-sized male cultivator flying back. This punch attracted the attention of many cultivators in the Tao discussion hall. It was not because someone was fighting, as it was normal to fight in the Tao discussion hall. It was because when the male cultivator flew back, one of his legs had disappeared. Apparently, Ning Cheng's punch had smashed it into pieces. Countless spiritual consciousnesses fell on Ning Cheng, filled with surprise, and all kinds of emotions. Ning Cheng looked like a celestial novice cultivator without even a celestial wheel, yet he managed to destroy a celestial shatterer cultivator's leg with a single punch. Ning Cheng completely sobered up from that state of realization. He looked at the celestial shatterer cultivator, who he had blown away, and felt calm in his heart. When this person had kicked him, he had felt a murderous intent. If he had still been immersed in that state of realization, or if his strength had not reached such a level, then the one lying on the ground without an arm or a leg would have been Ning Cheng. He might not even have been able to keep his life. The place where Ning Cheng sat was relatively quiet, but now that such a thing happened, it immediately turned lively. This matter has really blown up. Lu Xiao's leg was actually crippled. Even if he wanted to restore his cultivation, it would also greatly reduce his cultivation. Moreover, he would also need a top-quality spiritual object. Someone shook his head and looked at Ning Cheng with sympathy. Actually, it's not that big of a deal. That Lu Xiao took the initiative to kick this celestial novice cultivator. This celestial novice cultivator suddenly erupted, which resulted in Lu Xiao's leg being destroyed. The person next to him spoke up with disapproval. The person who spoke earlier looked at the disapproving cultivator and spoke in a calm voice, "If you knew that Lu Xiao's nephew was Lu Pingchuan, you would not have said that. Don't think too much about it, Lu Pingchuan is already here." "What?" The disapproving cultivator replied in shock. He immediately took 2 steps back and looked at the black-robed male cultivator who came over. He didn't know who Lu Xiao was, but he knew who Lu Pingchuan was. If one had to choose the 10 most talented cultivators within the striking order Starry Skies, then Lu Pingchuan would definitely be on the list. This was a powerhouse from Shangmao Celestial River, with a celestial gatherer cultivation. Moreover, this person was someone that striking order Heavenly Emperor thought highly of. Breaking one of the legs of this person's uncle, how could he let it go? Ning Cheng also stood up, he could hear the conversation going on around him. The fellow whose leg was blown off by his punch had a very strong background. It seemed to be this black-robed cultivator who came over, called Lu Pingchuan or something. However, Ning Cheng was not afraid of it. This was not something he wanted to pick a fight with. It was the guy called Lu Xiao who took the initiative to find him. Lu Xiao's kick just now was to kill him. He didn't cause trouble, but he wasn't afraid of it. Lu Pingchuan's reputation was obviously very big, as when he came over, he immediately attracted a lot of cultivators to surround him. "Did you just cripple Lu Xiao's leg?" Lu Pingchuan stood in front of Ning Cheng and spoke with a cold voice. Lu Pingchuan, like his uncle, did not have a tall stature. Standing in front of Ning Cheng, he was half a head shorter than Ning Cheng. However, the powerful aura emanating from his body made everyone realize that he was a powerhouse. Ning Cheng calmly spoke up, "You should have said that Lu Xiao's sneak attacked me, but because of my self-defense, he lost a leg. So Lu Xiao was in the wrong, and you decided to punish him?" Lu Pingchuan's tone turned even colder. Ning Cheng wanted to slap him and say, "You bastard, you're right. That's exactly what you said." However, he still retained his rationality. Not to mention that he might not be a match for Lu Pingchuan. Even if Lu Pingchuan couldn't beat him, he couldn't fight against a genius in this place. This fellow had a backer, while he was alone. That's right. In this case, I was sitting here without moving, but Lu Xiao kicked me. He clearly wants my life. Ning Cheng's tone turned even calmer. Although I'm just an ordinary cultivator, if anyone wants my life, they would have to exchange it with their life. In other words, you also want to kill Lu Xiao. Lu Pingchuan's tone contained a strong murderous intent. Ning Cheng didn't want to answer Lu Pingchuan's words. If this fellow wanted to fight, then he would accompany him. There was nothing to say here. If someone wanted to kill him somewhere else, he would have already killed them. Why would he wait until now? Let's go to the Seeking Dao platform. I want to see what skills you have. Lu Pingchuan waved his hand, and a circular arc filled with murderous intent shot towards Ning Cheng. He hadn't even gone to the Seeking Dao platform to fight, yet he wanted to make Ning Cheng fall to the ground. Unfortunately, his move had no effect on Ning Cheng. Ning Cheng also waved his hand, and a powerful celestial essence fluctuation dissipated the circular arc filled with murderous intent. Ning Cheng knew that although he hadn't gone into seclusion, he had listened to more than a day's worth of Dao discussions. As such, the way he attacked was completely different from before. Now that he made his move, he could lift something heavy as if it was light, in line with the laws of heaven and earth. Even so, with this move, he understood that he wasn't an opponent against Lu Pingchuan. No wonder you're so arrogant. You really do have a few tricks up your sleeve. Lu Pingchuan's eyes flashed with a sharp light as he stared at Ning Cheng. Ning Cheng felt the same disdain in his heart. If this were a place with no one around, this father would not have dissipated your murderous intent just now. With his character, he definitely wanted to fight back. Even if he couldn't beat this fellow, he wanted to let this bastard know that he wasn't a dough that anyone could need. Unfortunately, this was Lucky Heaven City's Dao discussion public square. No matter how much courage he had, he wouldn't dare to do anything to the genius cultivators here. Not to mention Striking Order Heavenly Emperor, even a Celestial River King could turn him into ashes with just a wave of his hand. If someone said that he defeated Lu Pingchuan, and then gained the favor of Striking Order Heavenly Emperor, which would allow him to survive, Ning Cheng would never believe it. Not to mention whether he could beat Lu Pingchuan or not, even if he could kill Lu Pingchuan, whether he could live to see Striking Order Heavenly Emperor was another matter altogether. Taking a step back, even if he saw Striking Order Heavenly Emperor, so what? The first thing that Striking Order Heavenly Emperor would do was not to protect him, but to use his spiritual consciousness to search through Ning Cheng. Senior Apprentice Brother Ning, why are you here? Wan Mingshu's shocked voice arrived, and she immediately squeezed through the crowd. She panicked. She never thought that Ning Cheng would meet with an accident even before entering the Time Wilderness. Junior Apprentice Sister Mingshu, do you know this person? Lu Pingchuan looked at Wan Mingshu in doubt. Wan Mingshu had a first-class appearance and figure. In this kind of gathering, as a beautiful female cultivator, she would naturally attract the attention of many male cultivators. Lu Pingchuan was a genius and also appreciated Wan Mingshu. Wan Mingshu quickly bowed to Lu Pingchuan and spoke, "Greetings Senior Apprentice Brother Lu. Ning Cheng is my senior apprentice brother. We also came here together." After that, she anxiously spoke to Ning Cheng, Senior Apprentice Brother Ning, this is Shangmao Celestial River's genius, Senior Apprentice Brother Lu Pingchuan. You should quickly apologize. Ning Cheng spoke up in a calm voice, I was attacked and had to defend myself. I don't know what kind of compensation I should give. Junior Apprentice Sister Mingshu, thank you for your concern. I stand up straight and sit up straight. If you want my life, then exchange it with your life. Not to mention a puny celestial gatherer cultivator, even if your Shangmao Celestial River's king came, what can you do? Don't think of yourself as the universe's master. If you want to flip out in the future, think about it clearly. You are just a celestial gatherer ant, not the universe's master. Genius, I am also a genius. I am the universe's premier genius. You have to make everyone believe in you. The latter half of the sentence was directed at Lu Pingchuan. After knowing that Lu Pingchuan was from Shangmao Celestial River, he felt even more disgusted with him. It's just that he could not kill Shangmao Celestial River King right now, otherwise, he would have already killed that shameless Celestial River King with his spear. Ah! Ruan Mingshu froze in place. She suddenly remembered that her words might have been useful to others, but for Ning Cheng, it was simply impossible. The surrounding people burst into laughter. Everyone could see that Ning Cheng was not a cultivator who could be easily pinched. Lu Pingchuan originally wanted to kill Ning Cheng, but Ning Cheng's words angered him to the point that his face turned livid. Well, I agree with this friend's words. Stand upright and walk straight. If you want my life, then exchange it with your life. Ha! A voice from the crowd spoke up, followed by a burst of laughter. Ma Jian, what do you mean by this? Lu Pingchuan's tone turned even more murderous. Ning Cheng also looked at the person in doubt. This person looked very strong and had a sloppy expression on his face. This person was also a celestial gatherer cultivator. Ning Cheng did not know why this person wanted to speak up for him. However, since this Ma Jian could replace Lu Pingchuan, it meant that his background was not small. Lu Xiao, whose leg had been broken by Ning Cheng's punch, suddenly spoke up, Pingchuan, I was just exchanging pointers with a friend. But because my skills were not as good as the other party, my friend ended up sending me flying. I just happened to fly towards this person. I did not expect this person to be so cruel and merciless. Taking advantage of the fact that I did not have any ability to resist, he killed me by blowing off one of my legs. Lu Xiao's words, apart from Ning Cheng, almost everyone believed it. That's right, Lu Xiao was also a celestial shatterer cultivator. Even if he was not good enough, a punch from a celestial novice cultivator would not be enough to blow off one of his legs. The only explanation was that Lu Xiao was completely defenseless, which meant that Ning Cheng wanted to kill him. What else do you have to say? If you have nothing else to say, then wash your neck and go to the Seeking Dao platform. The killing intent around Lu Pingchuan had already solidified, causing the cultivators around him to retreat. If this were not the Dao discussion public square, Ning Cheng would have already started. I can prove that Lu Xiao's kick contained killing intent, because I saw it with my own eyes. A sudden voice emerged. Chapter 532. Ning Cheng noticed that the cultivator who helped him was a young female cultivator with a celestial gatherer cultivation. This female cultivator, on seeing Ning Cheng looking at her, gave Ning Cheng a smile and spoke, I was just in the vicinity a moment ago. Lu Xiao and the other cultivators' exchange was clearly fake, in fact, his real goal was you. I can prove it. With two people coming out to speak up for him at the same time, Ning Cheng believed that it was definitely not a coincidence. However, when he saw Shen Qinyu standing outside the crowd, he immediately understood what was going on. The reason why these two people spoke up for him was not because they could not stand to see injustice, but because of Shen Qinyu. Lu Pingchuan obviously did not think that there would be people who would do such an offensive thing like testifying for others. Although he felt unhappy in his heart, he also knew that he could not force Ning Qing to go to the Seeking Dao platform to fight him. If Ning Qing had deliberately hurt someone, even if his cultivation was higher than Ning Qing, he could still force Ning Qing to go to the Seeking Dao platform. Now that Ning Qing was the victim, if he wanted Ning Qing to go to the Seeking platform with him, he would have to get Ning Qing's consent first. With someone testifying for Ning Qing, Wan Mingshu felt slightly relieved. But then she saw Zhao Yanxiang and quickly called out, "Senior apprentice brother Yanxiang." Wan Mingshu did not finish her words, but Zhao Yanxiang understood what she meant. It was because he knew Lu Pingchuan, and Wan Mingshu wanted him to intercede. Zhao Yanxiang was also secretly cursing Lu Xiao for being trash. He was the one who stirred up this matter. When he saw Ning Qing here, he immediately thought of a way to teach Ning Qing a lesson. Even if he killed him, it would not have mattered. What he did not expect was that Lu Xiao, a celestial shatterer cultivator, would not be able to kill Ning Qing, a puny celestial novice cultivator. Now that things had gotten out of hand and Wan Mingshu was calling for him, he could only walk over. When Wan Mingshu saw Zhao Yanxiang, Ning Qing also saw Zhao Yanxiang. He just happened to see Zhao Yanxiang and Lu Xiao's instantaneous exchange of glances and understood what was going on. He said that he had no enmity with Lu Xiao, so why did Lu Xiao want to kill him? So it was because of that trash, Zhao Yanxiang. Lu Pingchuan simply did not wait for Zhao Yanxiang to speak, as he stared at Ning Qing and spoke in a cold voice, "Since you can injure Lu Xiao with a single punch, then presumably you are also a powerhouse. Right now, I'm challenging you on the Dao-seeking stage. Do you have the guts to go up there?" All the people were staring at Ning Qing. This was tantamount to pointing at his nose and challenging him. If Ning Qing did not go up, then he would truly be a coward. The most important thing for a cultivator was their pride. If they were called a coward and challenged by someone and didn't dare to fight, it would leave a mark in their heart. The scene turned silent, all eyes were focused on Ning Qing, waiting for Ning Qing to answer. Ning Qing showed a faint smile before suddenly looking at Lu Pingchuan and speaking, "Surnamed Lu, if an undead powerhouse challenged you on the Seeking Dao platform, would you dare to go up?" How could Lu Pingchuan not know Ning Qing's thoughts? He laughed and was just about to speak when Ning Qing once again stopped him and spoke, "Lu Pingchuan, don't rush to answer. I have a fire origin crystal here. If you dare to agree, I will take out this fire origin crystal and invite an undead powerhouse to spar with you. It's the Dao seeking, so of course I don't care about life or death." With that, Ning Qing raised his hand and raised a fire origin crystal. The cultivators at the scene, who were initially concerned about whether Ning Qing would accept the challenge or not, immediately stared at the fire origin crystal in Ning Qing's hand. The value of this thing was simply immeasurable, especially for fire-attributed cultivators. Ning Qing said that he would use a fire origin crystal to invite an undead powerhouse to challenge Lu Pingchuan, a puny celestial gatherer cultivator. A lot of people would definitely agree to it. Lu Pingchuan's expressions turned ugly to the extreme. He wanted to say that he would definitely agree to it, but Ning Qing took out a fire origin crystal, which was a completely different story. It meant that once he said those words, an undead powerhouse would immediately ask to challenge him on the Seeking Dao platform. Should he go up or not? This puny celestial novice ant turned out to be so ruthless, even daring to take out a fire origin crystal. At this time, not to mention an invitation, even without Ning Qing's invitation, several undead powerhouses had already stared at the fire origin crystal in Ning Qing's hand. Obviously, as long as Ning Qing opened his mouth, they would immediately challenge Lu Pingchuan. As for whether Lu Pingchuan agreed or not, it didn't matter at all. Lu Pingchuan took in a deep breath, stared at Ning Qing coldly and spoke, "An undead cultivator is 2 full realms higher than me, yet you want me, a celestial scryer cultivator, to challenge a celestial river cultivator on the Seeking Dao platform. Do you still have any face?" Ning Qing laughed, cupped his fists towards the crowd and spoke, "Friends, Lu Pingchuan just said that I want him to fight against a powerhouse 2 realms higher than me, which is shameless. I am in the celestial novice realm, while Lu Pingchuan is in the celestial gatherer realm, which is 2 realms higher than me. Yet, he wants me to challenge him on the Seeking Tao platform. Is this not shameless? Does Lu Pingchuan have a thick skin, thicker than a pig's buttocks? The surrounding cultivators laughed, while Lu Pingchuan's hands trembled in anger. In fact, Ning Cheng was confusing the concept. Although Lu Pingchuan was 2 realms higher than him, they were both in the celestial scryer realm. However, the difference between the undead realm and the celestial gatherer realm was not just a matter of 2 realms. This was an essential gap. Even a peak celestial gatherer cultivator could not compare to an ordinary celestial bridge cultivator. Lu Pingchuan's complexion could no longer be described as livid. At this moment, he almost vomited blood. Since he started cultivating until now, no one around him could beat him. No matter where he went, he was always the proud son of the people. With such a person, how could he be Ning Cheng's opponent when it came to squeezing people? The surrounding cultivators also felt admiration for Ning Cheng. Using such means to resolve the challenge, no one could say anything about it. One could even say that it was flawless. The only downside was that it exposed the fire origin crystal. Shen Qinyu and Ruan Mingshu also secretly praised Ning Cheng's adaptability in their hearts. At the same time, they also felt a little worried in their hearts. After all, Ning Cheng had exposed the fire origin crystal. This kind of thing was an extremely rare treasure. As long as one was a fire-attributed cultivator, there was no one who did not like this kind of thing. However, Ning Cheng did not let go of Lu Pingchuan. He still looked at Lu Pingchuan with a sneer and spoke, in other words, you are a coward, and do not dare to fight against an undead powerhouse on the Seeking Tao platform. Lu Pingchuan clenched his fists tightly and stared at Ning Cheng with a murderous look. I am a coward, but aren't you also a coward? You also do not dare to fight against me on the Seeking Tao platform. Ning Cheng laughed and raised his middle finger at Lu Pingchuan. You're wrong. You are a coward, but I am not. When did I say that I would not accept your challenge? You are a coward who does not dare to accept other people's challenges. Don't think of everyone as the same as you. Remember, don't think of yourself as a genius in the future. Even if you are a genius, you are just a cowardly genius. Talking nonsense with people like you is just a waste of my time. Let's see the real deal on the Seeking Tao platform. After Ning Cheng finished, he turned around and walked towards the Seeking Tao platform. The people around him could not understand it at this time. Ning Cheng had already spoken so much, which proved that he did not need to step onto the Seeking Tao platform. Unexpectedly, after he scolded Lu Pingchuan as a coward, he still walked onto the Seeking Tao platform. Compared to the two, Lu Pingchuan was simply useless. Everyone knew that even if Lu Pingchuan defeated Ning Cheng, it would leave an indelible mark in his heart. Lu Pingchuan did not feel any joy from forcing Ning Cheng onto the Seeking Tao platform. Instead, he felt as if his heart was dripping blood. If he could, he would have swallowed Ning Cheng whole. Lu Xiao, who was still lying on the ground, on seeing Lu Pingchuan's appearance, felt his heart turn to ashes. He knew that he was in trouble. Lu Pingchuan was not only a genius from Shangmao Celestial River, but also a genius from the Lu clan. One could say that even 100 Lu Xiaos could not compare to a single finger of Lu Pingchuan. He was the one who started this matter. Ning Cheng's death did not mean anything, nor did he, Lu Xiao's death. However, Lu Pingchuan could not have any problems. Even if Lu Pingchuan's Dao heart suffered a small mark, it would still be a major event for the Lu clan. After this incident, he, Lu Xiao, could no longer stay in the Lu clan. Thinking of this, Lu Xiao stared at Zhao Yanxiang viciously. If not for this bastard's provocation, how could he start a feud with a little celestial novice cultivator like Ning Cheng for no reason? At this time, no one paid any attention to Lu Xiao's thoughts. Almost everyone had gathered around the Seeking Tao platform, focusing on the battle between Ning Cheng and Lu Pingchuan. Because of Ning Cheng and Lu Pingchuan's own words, the current Lu Pingchuan was clearly a cultivator without any guts. Ning Cheng, a little celestial novice cultivator who dared to accept the challenge of a celestial gatherer powerhouse, was the focus of everyone's attention. Wan Mingshu and Shen Qinyu, the two people who were familiar with Ning Cheng, could not understand why Ning Cheng, after taking out the fire origin crystal to solve the problem, would still accept Lu Pingchuan's challenge. Zhao Yanxiang looked at Ning Cheng walking towards the Seeking Tao platform and felt his heart turn cold for no reason. He suddenly felt that taking the initiative to find an opponent like Ning Cheng was not a wise thing to do. Chapter 533. Gidge. Lu Pingchuan finally understood what was going on. This puny celestial novice had actually dared to use body forging in a fight against him. Not only did he temper his body, but he was also on the verge of breaking through. Saying that, Ning Cheng not only did not bring out his magical weapon to resist, but rather operated his body forging cultivation method. His body tempering technique was also formless and invisible. Even in battle, he could still use it as he wished. He was sure that since Lu Pingchuan was known as a genius who loved to save face, even if he wanted to kill him, he would do it openly and honorably, and would absolutely not use any insidious sneak attacks. Besides, even if Lu Pingchuan decided to launch an insidious attack, he had the backing of his powerful domain, allowing him to avoid it in time. Whether it was because of the disparity in cultivation between Ning Cheng and Lu Pingchuan, or because of Lu Pingchuan's reputation as a genius, all of them were worth watching. At this moment, almost everyone in the Tao discussion venue had gathered around, wanting to see this duel between two realms of difference. Or rather, he wanted to see if Ning Cheng, a celestial novice cultivator who had almost caused Lu Pingchuan to spit out blood, had any skills, and whether he only had a sharp mouth. Ning Cheng gave out a sigh and was about to bring out the Nirvana spear to fight desperately when he heard a cold voice speaking up, "Enough. Lu Pingchuan, you are a celestial gatherer cultivator and a celestial novice cultivator. You have already reached this point, there is no need to continue fighting." The Tao-seeking platform of the Lucky Heaven City's Tao Discussion Assembly had always been relatively famous, and the number of cultivators dueling here was not small. It was not that there were no cultivators who fought on the Seeking Tao platform with a difference of two realms. However, there was no one like Ning Cheng and Lu Pingchuan, who had a difference of two realms, and who could not wait to kill each other. Blue veins popped out on Lu Pingchuan's forehead, while the number of invisible sound blade lights shot out from his symbols increased, and became even more concentrated. Each of these blade lights contained a vast amount of celestial essence as they slammed into Ning Cheng's body. Ning Cheng, who originally wanted to bring out an ordinary spear, suddenly felt his heart move. He felt sure that his domain was not any worse than Lu Pingchuan's. It's just that he had not used it to its fullest potential and was currently resisting it. Puff. Not waiting for Ning Cheng to twist his body, the copper symbol directly pierced through Ning Cheng's waist, as it rolled up an arrow of blood. At the same time that Ning Cheng was sent flying by the symbols, he also spat out a mouthful of blood. His meridians were broken in an instant, and he was severely injured. However, they were reassembled in an instant. If the striking order Starry Skies had 10 major geniuses, and Lu Pingchuan could rank 10th, then Tang Yu could easily rank in the top 3. However, that was not the main point. The main point was that this female cultivator had a powerful father, striking order Starry Sky's eternal level powerhouse, Tang Yitang. Ning Cheng crazily operated the body forging cultivation method, constantly using this kind of attack to temper his corporeal body. At this moment, he could not wait for Lu Pingchuan's attack to be even fiercer and more violent. Lu Pingchuan stared at Ning Cheng sarcastically and spoke, "I haven't even started, and you already can't do it? Then, when I unleash an even more powerful attack, will you kneel on the ground and beg for mercy? Don't worry, I will torture you well." A burst of sighs emerged. Although this celestial novice cultivator had some guts, the gap between their cultivations was just too big. He felt sure that in just a few breaths, this celestial novice cultivator would fall under Lu Pingchuan's hands. However, Lu Pingchuan's domain was currently binding him. Moreover, this domain was completely different from ordinary domains. Ning Qing felt sure that if he still had the same sea of consciousness as before, even if he advanced to the middle stage celestial novice realm, his domain would only barely be able to protect him from Lu Pingchuan's powerful domain. Lu Pingchuan's domain could suppress the other party's domain and then penetrate into the other party's domain. Throughout the entire Dao discussion hall, only Lu Pingchuan and Ning Qing understood what was going on. Ning Qing did not want to fight anymore. He had just advanced to the grade 8 God body, and combined with the things he heard in the Dao-seeking public square today, he had already gained a lot. In this fight with Lu Pingchuan, he had already achieved all of his goals, so why should he continue fighting? As the symbol blasted out, a sound that made people feel uncomfortable burst out. "You're courting death." Lu Pingchuan no longer cared about slowly torturing Ning Qing. The symbol in his hand turned into a faintly discernible pale golden shadow that quickly flew out. In a flash, Ning Qing felt a force binding him, and the space around him completely squeezed. Ning Qing secretly cursed in his heart. He had fought against many cultivators in the celestial scryer realm and knew that compared to previous fights, a starry sky cultivator's domain played a huge role. Ning Qing had indeed reached the point where he was about to advance. Although the surface of his body was badly mangled and looked extremely horrifying, the fact was that his corporeal body was quickly condensing into a small area, indicating that his injuries were not that serious. Or rather, for this kind of injury, he did not even need to use medicinal pills to recover at any time. Lu Pingchuan felt happy in his heart, and his attacks became even more intensive. He felt that this kind of torture to Ning Qing would allow him to win back a little face and make him feel comfortable in his heart. Kaka. Ning Qing felt for the first time that under such a fierce attack, he had to use his domain to resist it while also crazily operating the body-forging cultivation method. This sense of crisis stimulated his body to the limit, causing his body-forging cultivation method to rapidly rise. Soon, he reached the critical point of a grade 7 God body. Since his domain did not lose out to the other party, it was absolutely impossible for the other party to kill him in an instant. From this, one could imagine that if it were an ordinary celestial novice cultivator struggling under such a domain, the other party would have already quickly killed them. This fellow really did have a bit of a background, no wonder people called him a genius. Ning Qing was the first to feel the horror. After the sound of the symbols penetrated into his domain, he felt uncomfortable all over, and a kind of incomparable discomfort washed over him. The only feeling he had was that he wanted to vomit. Moreover, he wanted to vomit out all of his internal organs. Just when Lu Pingchuan thought that his domain had completely taken effect, a pair of symbols shot out. If that really happened, then Ning Qing could only rely on his spear skills and celestial essence to fight back. However, since Lu Pingchuan could stretch out such a powerful domain, how could his magical skills and spirit techniques be weak? Poof poof poof. Streams of blood continuously splashed out, and Ning Cheng's flesh and blood turned into rags, dripping with blood. At this moment, Ning Cheng's entire body was covered in blood, and even the audience could hear the sounds of Lu Pingchuan's broken bones. However, Ning Qing still calmly stared at Lu Pingchuan, holding a long sword that was only at the level of a true artifact in his hand to resist the attacks. Blood splattered, and bones broke. Some of the cultivators in the audience stood on Ning Cheng's side, and even admired Ning Cheng's courage. Some of the cultivators could not bear to see Ning Qing continue like this. It was not because they were soft-hearted, but rather, how many of the cultivators here had not killed before? It was just that this kind of bloody torture was much more bloody than a direct beheading. Something was not right, something was definitely wrong. Lu Pingchuan had a bad feeling in his heart. However, he soon felt that something was wrong. Ning Cheng's injuries were growing more and more, while his aura was growing stronger and stronger. There seemed to be a strange celestial essence fluctuation coming from him. What was going on? If this was not the strangest thing, then the fact that his domain had not completely crushed the other party's domain was the biggest surprise. I will let you understand what price you have to pay. After Lu Pingchuan stood on the Seeking Dao platform, he had already recovered his original calm, without any trace of impatience or anger. Ning Qing knew that he was not an opponent against Lu Pingchuan, so he did not take the initiative to attack. Instead, he chose to evade to protect himself. He believed that it would not be easy for Lu Pingchuan to kill him. Lu Pingchuan knew that Ning Qing was using him for body forging and wanted to kill Ning Qing even more. However, when he heard the voice calling for him to stop, he had no choice but to stop. This female cultivator was called Tang Yu, and he knew the identity of the other party very well. She was also one of the geniuses of striking order Starry Skies, however, her reputation was not something he could compare to. However, this was not the final attack. As the sound of the cymbals grew deeper and denser, invisible blade lights slammed into Ning Cheng's body. At this moment, Ning Cheng felt a sense of panic in his heart. He felt that he was too arrogant. Lu Pingchuan had wanted to torture him before, so he did not kill him. Now that the other party wanted to kill him, if he continued with body forging, it would only be courting death. The Seeking Dao platform was different from ordinary dueling platforms. The dueling platforms were for life and death battles, while the Seeking Dao platform was for disputes over Dao laws. As long as he fought for a while, he would take the initiative to admit defeat. Ning Qing did not feel afraid to admit defeat. Even if he could win, he did not intend to win. This kind of limelight thing, Ning Qing would never do it, at least for now he would not be so stupid as to do such a thing. The people under the stage saw the two sides clash, and Ning Qing immediately bound by Lu Pingchuan's domain. Lu Pingchuan's first attack had already injured Ning Qing. Moreover, Ning Qing had not even brought out a weapon until now. The moment the cymbals pierced through Ning Qing's domain, Ning Qing felt it. Ning Qing felt shocked to find that he could not resist it at all. Even if he brought out his Nirvana spear, he could not block it. Unless he brought out the everlasting Blue Thunder City. However, he had to bring out the everlasting Blue Thunder City as soon as possible. It was too late now. Thinking of this, Ning Qing spoke up with the same disdain, "Everyone knows that you are a coward. If you have any means, then bring it out. Your grandpa is waiting." Lu Pingchuan's mouth curled up with a deathly killing intent, causing the surrounding space to tremble. He wanted to tear apart Ning Cheng's domain and then kill Ning Cheng in one go. The next moment, Ning Cheng felt his bones begin to reconstruct, and his corporeal body finally advanced to a grade 8 god body. Ning Cheng was not an ordinary celestial novice cultivator. His sea of consciousness had already crossed the nirvana tribulation and evolved into a starry sky sea of consciousness. Lu Pingchuan's domain could easily crush the domains of ordinary celestial novice cultivators and instantly kill the other party, however, it had no effect on Ning Cheng. No one spoke. At this time, almost everyone sympathized with Ning Cheng. Even Zhao Yanxiang, the one who caused this incident, had to admire Ning Cheng's guts for being able to hold on until now. Not only did he hold on until now, but Ning Cheng's injuries were getting more and more severe, but his killing intent was also getting stronger and stronger. Feeling that Ning Cheng could only stretch out a small space within his domain, Lu Pingchuan showed a grin. Did he think that relying on his mouth was enough? He had already made up his mind that if he did not make Ning Cheng suffer a fate worse than death, he would not be Lu Pingchuan. No, he absolutely could not let it go on like this. He was not an opponent against Lu Pingchuan. If he let the opponent attack him like this, he would die without a doubt. As blood spilled out, Ning Cheng felt his celestial essence rapidly diminishing, as if it would disappear in the next moment. After saying that, without waiting for Ning Cheng to answer, his surroundings turned blurry. The cultivators watching under the stage also couldn't help but admire Ning Cheng's guts. Despite being beaten to such a state, he still dared to ridicule Lu Pingchuan. Chapter 534. Although the name Tang Yitong sounded a bit awkward, within the striking order Starry Sky, Tang Yitong's name was extremely dazzling. Even striking order Heavenly Emperor had to give him some face. Not to mention that Lu Pingchuan was just a genius cultivator from Shangmao Celestial River. Even if he were the Shangmao Celestial River King, he would not dare to contradict Tang Yu in this place. What's more, Tang Yu's words were recognized by many people. Lu Pingchuan felt very depressed. Others did not know that Ning Cheng was using him for body forging. What the others saw was a celestial novice cultivator covered in cuts and bruises. He, a celestial gatherer powerhouse, beating up a celestial novice cultivator to such a state was not something to be proud of. But how could he say such a thing? If he said it out loud, he would be slapping himself in the face. If others knew that a celestial gatherer powerhouse fought against a celestial novice cultivator, and that this celestial novice cultivator could use him to temper his body, what kind of genius would he be? Ning Cheng casually took out a robe and put it on. As he walked down the Seeking Tao platform, each step he took left behind a trail of blood. Ruan Mingshu hurriedly came up to support Ning Cheng. In her view, Ning Cheng's injuries were not light. Moreover, she had a vague feeling that this matter had something to do with her. Although Ning Cheng knew that his current situation was much better than before he stepped onto the Seeking Tao platform, he did not refuse Ruan Mingshu's kindness. From this, it could be seen that he was indeed far from being Lu Pingchuan's opponent. Moreover, the disparity was not just a little. It was obvious. Everyone had seen it. He was beaten up on the forum stage to the point where he couldn't even fight back. Lu Pingchuan looked at Ning Cheng's back, before his face finally regained its calm. At this moment, he no longer regarded Ning Cheng as a celestial novice cultivator who did not know the immensity of heaven and earth. This celestial novice cultivator was not only far stronger than ordinary celestial novice cultivators, but also had a terrifying mind. He absolutely could not allow this person to grow, or else it would become his nightmare. But for Tang Yu to tell him to stop, he was even somewhat grateful. If he really killed Ning Cheng on the Seeking Tao platform, then he would be able to vent his anger, but his reputation would only worsen. If this news spread out, it would definitely not be a good thing to hear. He, a celestial gatherer cultivator, challenged a celestial novice cultivator, and ended up beating the celestial novice cultivator to the point of being covered in blood before finally killing the celestial novice cultivator. Others did not know about Ning Cheng's insidiousness, as such he could only grit his teeth and swallow this matter. If he wanted to kill Ning Cheng, he would have many opportunities to do so. Moreover, this person also wanted to enter the Time Wilderness. Once he reached the Time Wilderness, he did not believe that he could not kill a celestial novice cultivator. Ning Cheng deliberately walked to the front of the female cultivator who had stopped him, cupped his fists and spoke, "Many thanks to this senior apprentice sister for speaking up in a righteous manner, otherwise, Ning Cheng would have died without a doubt." This female cultivator had only spoken a few words, yet Lu Pingchuan had immediately stopped. Ning Cheng immediately understood that the other party's background was definitely not small. "Are you called Ning Cheng?" "Hello, my name is Tang Yu, and I'm also going to the Time Wilderness." Tang Yu showed a slight smile and did not speak much about the matter of standing up for justice. Ning Cheng quickly replied, "Yes, my name is Ning Cheng." Tang Yu's appearance looked very ordinary. When she smiled, there were two small dimples on the corner of her mouth, which looked very warm and sweet. However, Ning Cheng could clearly feel that Tang Yu's strength was not any worse than Lu Pingchuan's. In fact, she might even be a lot stronger. Lu Pingchuan was already strong enough, but there was still someone more powerful than him. Moreover, this was just the striking order Starry Sky. From this, it could be seen that the Starry Sky's powerhouses were as numerous as the hairs on an ox. "You're not bad. By the way, I also have a Fire Origin spiritual root. If you want to sell your Fire Origin crystal, I can take it back." When Tang Yu spoke, the smile remained on her face. Ning Qing suddenly understood why there were so many kind-hearted people around today. It turned out that Tang Yu had also taken a fancy to his fire origin crystal. However, Tang Yu had spoken about the fire origin crystal in front of so many people, which meant that she was helping him. Ning Qing had a lot of fire origin crystals on him. Even if he used one to buy the mask and gave one to Shi Yulan, he still had more than a dozen pieces on him. As for these fire origin crystals, he had no intention of selling them. After all, he also had a fire origin spiritual root, which might come in handy in the future. Now that Tang Yu asked him to buy a piece of fire origin crystal, Ning Qing did not hesitate to take it out and put it in Tang Yu's hands. "Thank you, Senior Apprentice Sister Tang. I was just looking for a place to sell this fire origin crystal. Now that Senior Apprentice Sister is willing to help me, it would be for the best." Tang Yu happily took the fire origin crystal that Ning Qing handed to her and said, "I don't know what Junior Apprentice Brother Ning wants. Celestial coins, weapons, or something else?" Ning Qing hesitated for a moment before speaking, "I still have some celestial coins on me. I use axes, and I want a good axe. If you have jade strips for the Tao of Arrays, the Tao of Alchemy, or the Tao of Talismans, it would also be useful to me." Tang Yu put away the fire origin crystal and smiled, "I didn't know that you had such a wide range of hobbies. So be it, in 3 days, I will send these things to your residence." "Many thanks, Senior Apprentice Sister Tang." Ning Qing once again cupped his fists towards Tang Yu and immediately left with Ruan Mingshu. Tang Yu did not ask about his residence. Ning Qing felt sure that it would be too easy for Tang Yu to investigate his residence. Moreover, it was also a good thing that Tang Yu took away the fire origin crystal, which reduced the attention of others on him. "Senior Apprentice Brother Ning, are you all right?" It was not until Ning Qing had walked far away that Ruan Mingshu finally found the opportunity to ask Ning Qing. Ning Qing smiled and said to Ruan Mingshu, "Many thanks for Junior Apprentice Sister Mingshu's concern. I'm fine. The Tao discussion has just begun. Junior Apprentice Sister can take care of herself, no need to worry about me. What about you?" Ruan Mingshu looked at Ning Qing with some worry. "I'm going back to the rest stop to heal. When the time wilderness opens, Junior Apprentice Sister, just remember to call me." After saying that, Ning Qing quickened his pace and quickly left the Tao discussion hall. Ruan Mingshu watched Ning Qing disappear and felt some doubts in her heart. Initially, she thought that Ning Qing had a serious injury. However, the moment she held Ning Qing, she felt that Ning Qing's injuries did not seem to be that serious. Moreover, she did not expect that Ning Qing would even have a fire origin crystal. From the looks of it, she still did not know enough about Ning Qing. She did not even ask about how Ning Qing came to this place. From the beginning to Ning Qing's departure, Shen Qinyu did not say a single word. Returning to his residence, Ning Qing cleaned himself up before continuing to sort out his gains. Now that he had advanced to a rank 8 god body, those seemingly serious injuries were nothing compared to a rank 8 god body. During the battle with Lu Pingchuan, Ning Qing had not made a single move except to resist. However, he still benefited a lot from it. Lu Pingchuan's powerful domain had allowed him to reach a new level of understanding of domains. He believed that as long as he went into seclusion to sort out his gains, Ning Qing's domain would eventually become complete. This made Ning Qing even more convinced that fighting against opponents who were more powerful than him would allow him to grow even faster. It was just that time constraints prevented Ning Qing from going into deep seclusion. He did not know when Tang Yu would send him something, nor did he know when the time wilderness would open. Tang Yu did not let Ning Qing wait for long. The next day, she arrived at the rest stop where Ning Qing was staying. "Greetings Senior Apprentice Sister Tang." Towards Tang Yu, Ning Qing was still very polite. No matter from which point of view, Tang Yu had helped him a lot. Tang Yu walked into Ning Qing's room and looked around before speaking with a smile. No wonder Junior Apprentice Brother Ning wanted a jade strip for the Tao of Arrays. It turns out that junior apprentice brother Ning is a grade 1 celestial array master. She had already noticed that Ning Cheng had arranged some array formations in the room, all of which were grade 1 celestial arrays. Ning Cheng felt slightly surprised in his heart. This was a true genius. From Tang Yu's words, he understood that Tang Yu not only had amazing strength, but also had a higher understanding of the Tao of arrays than him. He could only achieve this with the help of the mysterious yellow formless. However, Tang Yu might not necessarily have such an achievement. Before I reached the celestial scryer realm, I learned array formations from my master for a period of time. Therefore, I only have a superficial understanding of array formations. Ning Cheng spoke modestly. Tang Yu giggled, junior apprentice brother Ning, you are not being modest. Although you are a grade 1 celestial array master, you still have a superficial understanding of array formations. Generally, only imperial array masters who can arrange grade 4 celestial river array formations are qualified to say that they have a superficial understanding of array formations. From this, it can be seen that junior apprentice brother Ning has just arrived at the starry skies and does not know many of the rules. Ning Cheng's face also turned red. He had thought that he was being modest, but he did not expect that in the ears of others, he was not being modest, but boasting shamelessly. You don't have to be embarrassed. You have not studied systematically. It's already amazing for you to have this level. I am also a celestial array master, and I'm currently a grade 3 celestial array master. We can exchange pointers with each other in the future. Seeing Ning Cheng's embarrassment, Tang Yu did not continue to joke with Ning Cheng. After that, she took out 2 jade strips and handed them to Ning Cheng. These are the Starry Sky Tao of Alchemy and the Starry Sky Tao of Arrays. The Tao of Alchemy is the real foundation, but the Tao of Arrays is not necessarily the foundation. My father is a grade 7 Emperor Array Grandmaster, so he has a better understanding of the Tao of Arrays. Tang Yu then took out a palm-sized axe and put it in Ning Cheng's hand. This axe is called the Wishful Demon Axe. It is a middle-grade Tao artifact that my father left for me. I will now give it to you. As soon as the axe fell into his hand, a heavy feeling washed over him. Coupled with Tang Yu saying that this axe was a middle-grade Tao artifact, Ning Cheng understood that his fire origin crystal could not be exchanged for so many good things. He quickly declined, Senior Apprentice Sister Tang, this is too precious. My fire origin crystal is not worth this much. Tang Yu smiled, Ning Cheng, a middle-grade Tao artifact might be precious to you, but it is nothing to me. Moreover, among the things I gave you, the most precious thing is not this middle-grade Tao artifact, but the jade strip for the Tao of Arrays. You will know about it later. I asked for your fire origin crystal on the spot. First, I really need this thing, and second, I want to help you. I think that although your cultivation is low, I appreciate your character. If you don't mind, then we will be friends from now on. Tang Yu spoke so openly and honestly, which was to Ning Cheng's liking. He no longer remained polite and put away all the things Tang Yu brought and said, Tang Yu, we will be friends from now on. Tang Yu, on hearing Ning Cheng not call her senior apprentice sister, giggled and said, okay, see you later. After saying that, she turned around and quickly disappeared from the rest stop. Ning Cheng took a while to activate the restrictions. This Tang Yu really was straightforward. She did not tell Ning Cheng about teaming up in the desolate domain, nor did she leave behind a communication pearl. However, Ning Cheng felt that Tang Yu, whom he had just met twice, was more reliable than Yuan Mingshu. It was a complete intuition. Chapter 535. Bang! With a dull sound, all the spatial restrictions around Ning Cheng turned into nothingness. Ning Cheng looked at his surroundings that had turned into nothingness in surprise. His domain had finally made substantial progress. Obtaining the enlightenment from Lu Pingchuan and Suo Qiaoya, Ning Cheng also integrated his celestial river flame into his domain. The celestial river flame hid within his domain, making it invisible and traceless. As long as the other party could not discover it, he could use his domain to attack. In fact, this wasn't even an attack from a domain. It was just an attack that used a domain to fuse with the star river. In the end, it was still the celestial river flame that was attacking. But no matter what, he had already taken the first step in using his domain. Moreover, after he refined the wishful demon axe that Tang Yu had given him, he was able to transform into several different forms and secretly attack the enemy while they were unprepared. Ning Cheng was also aware that his own strength had once again grown by a large margin compared to a few days ago. As long as he could advance to the celestial Shatterer realm, he felt confident that he could kill Lu Pingchuan. The restriction at the door shook violently. Ning Cheng opened the restriction and saw the rest stop's steward standing at the door with an angry face. Seeing Ning Cheng come out, the steward spoke up in a stern voice, "You dare to test spirit techniques and magic skills in our rest stop and even destroy the array formations in our room? I'm really sorry, I will definitely pay attention to it next time." Ning Cheng knew that this matter was entirely his fault. He had chosen the wrong place to go into seclusion for cultivation. "Pay 10 million green coins and leave our rest stop immediately. We do not welcome you here." The steward's tone turned even colder. Ning Cheng also felt helpless and could only compensate the other party with 10 million green coins before walking out of the rest stop. Yuan Mingshu had not come to find him, so he could only find another place to live. Senior apprentice brother Ning. Ning Cheng had just walked out of the rest stop when he heard Yuan Mingshu's voice. Ning Cheng wanted to see Yuan Mingshu the most right now. He quickly stepped forward and asked, "Junior apprentice Sister Mingshu, did the Time Wilderness open?" "The Time Wilderness will open tomorrow. I came here specifically to say hello to you. Tomorrow, we will go to the Manluan public square. Did you come out for something?" Yuan Mingshu also felt strange about Ning Cheng leaving the rest stop. Since the Dao discussion convention, Ning Cheng had attracted the attention of many people. Although Tang Yu took away Ning Cheng's fire origin crystal, some people would not think so. They immediately wondered if Ning Cheng had more than one fire origin crystal, or where did Ning Cheng obtain the fire origin crystal. In Yuan Mingshu's view, Ning Cheng should not have left the rest stop before the desolate domain opened. Ning Cheng spoke up with a bitter smile, "I just got kicked out. I was practicing array formations in the rest stop when I accidentally destroyed the rest stop's original array formation. I was fined 10 million green coins and then kicked out. I was just about to look for a place to stay when you came by." Yuan Mingshu showed a smile and spoke, "Then let's go to my residence. In the evening, we can discuss how to cooperate in the Time Wilderness. Also, I have something else to tell you." Ning Cheng knew that the other matter should be related to the perpetual moon pills, so he did not refuse Yuan Mingshu's invitation. He had cooperated with Yuan Mingshu for the sake of obtaining perpetual moon pills. If he was not very familiar with perpetual moon pills before, then now that he had read the pill strips that Tang Yu had given him, his desire for perpetual moon pills grew even stronger. Moreover, he also knew that although perpetual moon pills were very precious in Striking Order Starland, they were not as precious in other starry skies. In the vast universe, some starry skies' perpetual moon pills were just like starry skies' crystals, ordinary and common. If one wanted to enter the vast universe and enter other starry skies, one would have to work hard to improve one's cultivation. Once one's cultivation reached a high level, one could then go to places with more resources to continue cultivating. Within the starry skies, there was a truth that the strong would always grow stronger. Although this truth was not 100% correct, it was 99% correct. Although Yuan Mingshu's room contained a bed, the fact was that Ning Cheng and Yuan Mingshu, with celestial scryer cultivation, could even sit down and discuss the Tao for a month without needing to sleep. "Did you look at the map jade strip I gave you?" After Yuan Mingshu activated the restrictions around her room, the first thing she asked was Ning Cheng's jade strip. Ning Cheng nodded, "Yes, I have a general understanding of the location." The communication pearls in the time wilderness have a very short range and might not even be useful. The map jade strip I gave you might not be as good as the best ones, but it is much better than the map jade strips sold in Lucky Heaven City. On the map jade strip, there is a Moon Creek. This place is actually a dried-up river. If we can't get in touch, we can meet at Moon Creek. Wan Mingshu finished and looked at Ning Cheng. Ning Cheng had indeed seen the Moon Creek. Now that Wan Mingshu said it, he naturally did not have any problems with it. Okay, let's meet at Moon Creek. Wan Mingshu showed a slight smile. Meet or leave, that's a good way to put it. I quite like it. Ning Cheng was thinking about the map he bought at the Revolving Jade City's auction. He had heard that it was also related to the time wilderness. According to the cultivator at the time, the map he bought could be found everywhere in the Striking Order Star Land and could be bought for 100 green coins. However, he had spent 110 million celestial coins. It was precisely because of this disparity that he had yet to see this map. Now that he thought about Wan Mingshu saying that there were many such maps, did he want to buy an ordinary map and compare it with the map he bought at the auction? Seeing Ning Cheng silent, Wan Mingshu spoke up again. Recently, a person has been looking for cultivators from the Orchid Burrow Celestial River to talk. He also came looking for me. I heard that he was looking for a map. If this person finds you, you won't know anything. You can inadvertently expose that you know Tangyu. Ning Cheng did not know much about Tangyu. Now that Wan Mingshu mentioned this name, he quickly asked, Junior Apprentice Sister Mingshu, who is this Tangyu? Does she have a big background? Wan Mingshu looked at Ning Cheng in surprise and spoke, Tangyu, you don't know? Her father was Tang Yitong, an eternal-level powerhouse of Striking Order Starry Sky. Even Heavenly Emperor Striking Order treated Tang Yitong politely. Within the Striking Order Starry Skies, no one dared to do anything to her. Otherwise, Lu Pingchuan might not have stopped. Lu Pingchuan was also a person with a great background. He was from the Shangmao Celestial River's Lu clan, which was also a powerful force in the Shangmao Celestial River. By the way, how did you enter the Dao discussion venue? Also, Ma Jian is someone who only knows how to look at the sky from the corner of his eyes. Why would he speak up for you? A friend I just met brought me in. She's a nice person. That Ma Jian should be the person she invited to speak up for me. Ning Cheng spoke ambiguously. In fact, Wan Mingshu had met Shen Qingyu once. However, Ning Cheng believed that Wan Mingshu would not remember this matter. Not waiting for Wan Mingshu to continue asking, Ning Cheng took the initiative to change the topic. Junior Apprentice Sister Mingshu, can you tell me about the time wilderness? My knowledge of the time wilderness can be said to be a complete blank. Wan Mingshu gave an N sound. Senior Apprentice Brother Ning, even if you didn't say it, I would have told you about it. I don't know much about it, but I heard that the time wilderness is a fragment of a small law world within the planar void and a starry sky wilderness. Moreover, this fragment is a fragment of the laws of time. A heaven-defying powerhouse had fused this fragment of the laws of time with a starry sky wilderness, forming the time wilderness. Does it have an owner? Ning Cheng asked in amazement. Wan Mingshu shook her head and spoke, it used to be, but not anymore. It was said that this powerhouse had built many laws of time worlds in his time wilderness and had accumulated many treasures within them. However, before this powerhouse could fully form his own laws of time, he fell in a fight with someone else. Ning Cheng remained silent. He had seen many powerhouses fall. Back in the everlasting Blue Thunder City, which one of those powerhouses was not a tyrannical figure in the entire universe. However, didn't these people turn into a pile of yellow soil within the starry sky? Even a powerhouse like Tsang Wei needed him to save him. Ning Cheng's gaze remained fixed on Wan Mingshu's face, but his thoughts were not in this place at all. Powerhouses who fell could not be considered as powerhouses. Only cultivators who were eternally powerful in this universe could truly become powerhouses, otherwise, they would just be floating clouds. What's wrong with you, senior apprentice brother Ning? Wan Mingshu saw Ning Cheng's trance and quickly asked. Oh, it's nothing. You can speak. Ning Cheng recovered. Wan Mingshu knew that Ning Cheng definitely had some secrets, but she did not ask Ning Cheng and continued. Later, the Time Wilderness remained within the striking order Starry Skies. However, the Time Wilderness cannot be entered at any time. It only opens at a specific time. Over the years, countless cultivators have entered the Time Wilderness, but at the same time, countless cultivators have fallen in the Time Wilderness. In the Time Wilderness, the most terrifying thing is time. Sometimes, you might fall into a time vortex, and by the time you break out, you might have already reached the end of your lifespan. Even Striking Order Heavenly Emperor couldn't enter. Ning Cheng asked. Wan Mingshu spoke with affirmation. Yes, even Striking Order Heavenly Emperor couldn't enter without meeting the conditions. I heard that the Time Wilderness opens for 10 years, and after entering, there is no way to come out within 10 years. After 10 years, the Time Wilderness will automatically send out the cultivators inside. 10 years? Ning Cheng asked in shock. 10 years to enter a mystic realm, wasn't that too long? Yes, 10 years. In the Time Wilderness, the most precious thing is not the perpetual moon pills, but the time stones. The time stones automatically survive in the Time Wilderness. This kind of thing is extremely precious and contains a trace of the laws of time. Time stones come in all sizes, from the size of a speck of dust to the size of a dragon's eye. I heard that the Striking Order Starry Skies Time Wilderness experience is based on the number of time stones harvested. Ning Cheng interrupted Wan Mingshu's words. Junior apprentice Sister Mingshu, according to what you said, the value of the time stones is too high. Even if someone obtained a time stone, how could they take it out? Wan Mingshu looked at Ning Cheng for a while, before she spoke up one word at a time. Senior apprentice brother Ning, if you really obtained a time stone in the Time Wilderness, then you must take it out. Otherwise, you would only be courting death. Oh. Chapter 536. Wan Mingshu did not explain it in detail, but Ning Cheng also understood what she meant. That is, if one obtained the time stones and did not hand them over, they could still be found out. Unfortunately, his mysterious yellow bead could not store things for a long time, otherwise, he would have placed the time stone in the mysterious yellow bead. The mysterious yellow bead was a good fortune treasure. If he placed the time stones in the mysterious yellow bead, then no one would be able to find out about it. Why did the mysterious yellow bead have to wait until the 5 elements were complete before it could store things? As Ning Cheng thought until here, he was more and more convinced that there must be a way to put these things in the mysterious yellow bead, at least temporarily. His mysterious yellow bead, in addition to the mysterious yellow origin, now contained 2 other origins, water and fire. Could he use the other 3 origin items to set up a formation and store the items in it? The best origin item was naturally an origin crystal. But a single fire origin crystal was priceless. Where would he find the money to buy the other 3 origin crystals? Besides, even if he had the money, he couldn't buy it, right? Perhaps he didn't need to use origin crystals. Would a 5 elements array formation work? Senior apprentice brother Ning, you don't have to think too much about the time stones. These things are not common even in the Time Wilderness. It was normal to not get a single one in 10 years. The last time you came to the Dao discussion hall, you only stayed for a day before leaving. However, I heard a lot about it, so we can discuss it. Wan Mingshu took the initiative to change the topic. She did not think that Ning Cheng would think about how to hide the time stones. Okay. Ning Cheng happily agreed. In any case, Wan Mingshu's knowledge was much more than his own. Ning Cheng's insights were astonishing, while Wan Mingshu's foundation was solid. The two of them chatted for the whole night, but unexpectedly felt that it was not enough, and both of them benefited a lot from it. Early the next morning, the restriction over Wan Mingshu's room was triggered. Wan Mingshu opened the restriction, and Zhao Yanxiang appeared at the door of the room. Mingshu, the Time Wilderness opens today. Let's go to the Manluan public square. Zhao Yanxiang's words abruptly stopped, as he saw Ning Cheng coming out of Wan Mingshu's room. Did you stay here last night? Zhao Yanxiang's brows immediately wrinkled, as he stared at Ning Cheng and asked. Wan Mingshu was someone he admired. She was his future Dao companion, and he was prepared to go to the universe with her. Now, another man had walked out of the room of the woman he liked. Regardless of whether he had done anything, this kind of thing made it hard for him to calm down. Ning Cheng did not pay any attention to Zhao Yanxiang, regardless of whether the person who tried to harm him last time was Zhao Yanxiang or not, he would sooner or later find this person and ask him about it. Wan Mingshu seemed to have some sort of relationship with this Zhao Yanxiang, so there was no need for him to talk nonsense now. What's more, Wan Mingshu's motive for getting close to him wasn't very clear. Wan Mingshu spoke with a calm expression, yes, senior apprentice brother Yanxiang. Yesterday, I was able to chat with senior apprentice brother Ning for the entire night, which benefited me a lot. Zhao Yanxiang's slightly fluctuating emotions suddenly calmed down. He smiled and said, in that case, let's go to the square together. As the most important public square in the Striking Order Starland, the Striking Order public square could not be described as big. There were all kinds of starry sky teleportation arrays here, as well as all kinds of facilities for cultivators. Although the Ningqing trio arrived early, there were many other cultivators who arrived earlier than them. By the time they arrived, the Striking Order public square was already packed with cultivators. With so many experts here, there wasn't much noise or clamor. The cultivators who came here knew very well that this place was a place that Heavenly Emperor Manluan attached great importance to. Once someone caused trouble in this place, only death awaited them. Wan Mingshu kept a low profile. She brought Ning Cheng and Zhao Yanxiang to a place that was not very conspicuous in the public square. This time, the Celestial Scryer Genius Tryouts of the Striking Order Starry Skies was a major event, which Heavenly Emperor Manluan personally presided over. Although Heavenly Emperor Manluan had not arrived yet, some of the cultivators gathered together and whispered among themselves. However, no one dared to make any noise. Wan Mingshu and Zhao Yanxiang seemed to be arguing about something, while Ning Cheng did not want to participate in such a conversation and took the initiative to walk to the other side. This friend, if I remember correctly, you are also from the Orchid Burrow Celestial River. Your name should be Ning Cheng, right? Ning Cheng had just stood still when a gentle voice sounded in his ear. Ning Cheng looked back and saw a celestial gatherer cultivator with a thin body and 3 conspicuous celestial wheels behind him. This person was obviously a powerhouse with a celestial gatherer cultivation. That's right. Ning Cheng gave a simple reply. The celestial gatherer cultivator clapped his hands and spoke, let's get to know each other. My name is Fu Shogun, and we are both from the Orchid Burrow Celestial River. To tell the truth, it really is amazing that you could escape from the rat tide. Congratulations. I was also on that battleship at that time. If I didn't have a Starry Sky escape talisman, with so many Starry Skies spirit-devouring rats swarming over, I would have already lost my life. Ning Cheng showed a faint smile, then congratulations to you. By the way, when I was in the revolving Jade City, there was an auction that sold a map of the Time Wilderness. Do you know about that auction? Fu Shogun was a very talkative person and instantly found a topic to talk about. Ning Cheng immediately became vigilant in his heart. He immediately thought of what Wan Mingshu had told him before. Someone was looking for the participating cultivators from the Orchid Burrow Celestial River, saying that they were looking for a map. Was it this fellow? Was he looking for the map that he obtained at the auction? Ning Cheng replied without hesitation, I really don't know about it. I heard that the revolving Jade City's auctions often sold maps of the Time Wilderness, but I don't know which one you are talking about. Fu Shogang explained, I know that maps were often put up for auction at that time. In the beginning, a few of them sold for tens of millions of green coins. However, everyone later realized that they were fake, and very few people bought them. I'm not talking about that, but about an auction where a map was sold for 110 million green coins. Do you know about that auction? I don't know. Ning Cheng replied without hesitation. You really don't know? These 4 words contained a sharp killing intent. Apparently, it did not come from Fu Shogun, but from behind Ning Cheng. Ning Cheng calmly turned around and saw a cultivator with 5 celestial wheels staring at him. This cultivator exuded a sharp killing intent, which completely locked down Ning Cheng's entire body. Those 4 words were asked by this cultivator just now. From the celestial wheels behind him, Ning Cheng understood that this person was at least an undead cultivator. Ning Cheng's eyes flashed with a chill before he suddenly shouted out, as a cultivator participating in the Manluan Starry Skies Celestial Scryer Genius Tryouts and standing on the sacred Manluan public square, why would someone still want to kill me? Why would someone lock onto me with such a powerful killing intent? The cultivator with the killing intent apparently did not expect Ning Cheng to dare to shout so loudly in the Manluan public square, let alone say that someone wanted to kill him. The cultivator's eyes instantly filled with panic. If he knew that Ning Cheng would act like this, even if Ning Cheng slapped him 100 times, he would not dare to do such a thing. You. The cultivator felt so angry that he could not even speak a word. Ning Cheng stared at the cultivator with a cold gaze and spoke, a trivial undead ant, yet you dare to threaten me here. A celestial novice cultivator had called the other party a trivial undead ant, yet this undead cultivator did not dare to refute. Who dares to fight here? Not waiting for the undead cultivator to speak again, a grey-robed cultivator stood in front of Ning Cheng. Senior, it's this person. Just now, he revealed a strong killing intent behind me, locked onto me with his killing intent, and even threatened me. Ning Cheng pointed to the undead cultivator who had locked onto him with the killing intent and spoke with cupped fists. This grey-robed cultivator had already reached the heaven-seated realm. Even if Ning Cheng did not say anything, he could feel the killing intent that had yet to dissipate. He raised his hand and slapped the undead cultivator. Before he could even say a word, the grey-robed cultivator slapped him into pieces. Whoever dares to fight in the Manluan public square and reveal killing intent, die. After the grey-robed cultivator killed the undead cultivator who threatened Ning Cheng, he spoke out in a cold voice before his figure flashed and disappeared without a trace. Fu Shogang stared at Ning Cheng viciously. He did not think that Ning Cheng would not act according to common sense and directly call out a heaven-seated powerhouse. Ning Cheng did not bother to pay any attention to Fu Shogang and greeted Ruan Mingshu, who was rushing over. He was about to enter the Time Wilderness, where he would have to spend 10 years in the Time Wilderness. This fellow, whom he did not even know, revealed his killing intent towards him. Moreover, he could take advantage of the geographical advantage, so it would be strange if he remained polite. What happened? Ruan Mingshu whispered into Ning Cheng's ear. Nothing, the Heavenly Emperor is here. Ning Cheng replied. Heavenly Emperor striking order had indeed arrived, but no one knew when he arrived. His appearance this time was completely different from when he appeared at the Dao discussion hall. It was as if he had always been here and had just appeared. The Heavenly Emperor is eternal. A deafening voice erupted from the public square. Although no one organized it, it sounded very orderly. Striking order Heavenly Emperor stood on the high altar in the middle of the public square and spoke with a clear voice, I am very happy today, not only because today is the opening day of the Time Wilderness, but also because 99% of the geniuses in the celestial scryer realm of my striking order Starry Skies have come to this place. Maybe in the future, a Heavenly Emperor or even an eternal powerhouse will emerge among you to fight for the honor of my striking order Starry Skies. However, no powerhouse can just sit at home. They must go out of the planet, out of the celestial river, out of the starry skies, out of the universe. Striking order Heavenly Emperor is eternal. A more enthusiastic call rang out. Ning Qing suddenly felt a strange feeling in his heart. He felt that the worshipful voices coming from the public square would make striking order Heavenly Emperor look even taller. It might just be an illusion, but it really did appear in his mind. At this moment, he recalled the power of hope that he had seen before. Was this also a kind of power of hope? Striking order Heavenly Emperor laughed and spoke up in a loud voice, "Today, I am here to announce that in the future, you will start from the striking order Starry Skies, from the time wilderness. Although there are not many geniuses who can represent our striking order Starry Skies to enter the universe, I still believe that our striking order Starry Skies can achieve the honor it deserves. The time wilderness will open for 10 years, and the results will be based on the number of time stones you obtain. 10 years will pass in a snap of the fingers. Now, I will bring all the geniuses participating in the time wilderness tryouts into the time wilderness. Let us meet again in 10 years. The Heavenly Emperor is eternal." The public square filled with violent shouts of worship. At this moment, it felt as if every cultivator had turned crazy. Oh! Chapter 537. Ning Qing initially wanted to purchase an ordinary wilderness map, however, he did not have the opportunity to do so. The cultivators participating in the time wilderness smelting trial were about to board the battleship. The time wilderness was not located in the striking order Star Land, nor could it establish a transfer array. As such, one would have to rely on a battleship to reach it. The battleship carried the hundreds of thousands of cultivators who entered the time wilderness for the trial. After passing through the striking order Star Land, it only took half a day before it stopped outside the starry skies. Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness had already detected that the space in this place was extremely unstable. No wonder there was no way to establish a transfer array. A ripple-shaped entrance appeared in front of the battleship. Ning Cheng did not need to guess to know that this entrance should be the entrance to the time wilderness. Heavenly Emperor Man Luan attached great importance to this trial. Not only did he personally lead the team here, but he also specifically reminded everyone at the entrance, "Geniuses of my Man Luan's starry skies, the entrance to the time wilderness will only remain open for 72 hours. If you lose this opportunity, you would not know when the next time the time wilderness opens would be. 10 years later, a temporary plaza would be built here. As long as the geniuses were able to come out, they would appear in this temporary starry plaza. Now, let's hurry up and enter the desolate region. I wish all the participating geniuses a lucky return. Striking order immortal, Heavenly Emperor eternal." The participating cultivators shouted out in excitement. The battleship's restrictive spell was opened, and many cultivators jumped into it. Like dumplings falling into a pot, they disappeared. "Senior apprentice Brother Ning, let's also go in." Yuan Mingshu, who was standing beside Ning Cheng, spoke up in a low voice. "Okay, junior apprentice Sister Mingshu, do you have an ordinary map of the time wilderness?" Ning Cheng asked with a slight hope in his heart. "Yes, you didn't even buy this?" Although somewhat surprised, Yuan Mingshu still took out a map jade strip and handed it to Ning Cheng. Ning Cheng was overjoyed, as he took the jade strip and said, "Many thanks." Yuan Mingshu smiled and flew into the entrance of the waste domain. Zhao Yanxiang glanced at Ning Cheng and quietly hid away the killing intent at the corner of his eyes before following Yuan Mingshu into the time wilderness. Ning Cheng saw Tang Yu but did not see Shen Qinyu. Ning Cheng knew that Shen Qinyu's appearance was constantly changing, as such, there was a possibility that she was right next to him. He did not continue to use his spiritual consciousness to sweep around, and followed behind the many cultivators into the desolate domain's entrance. An enormous whirlpool swept away Ning Cheng. At this moment Ning Cheng could not even think, as everything in his mind turned blank. Not knowing how much time had passed, Ning Cheng's feet finally came to a stop. Even with his powerful middle-stage celestial novice cultivation, he could not help but stagger. Ning Qing felt as if he was standing in the middle of a life vortex that was gradually disappearing. His life seemed to be fading away, while his heart was filled with panic and fear. Ning Qing calmed his mind and stabilized his thoughts. Perhaps anyone who felt that their life was slipping away would also experience this state, right? The surroundings were barren. There was no light, no water, no life, no spirit grass. There was only an indescribable color. It seemed to be gray, but also seemed to have a trace of a very strange color. This is the color of time. Ning Qing couldn't help but think of such a thought. Time had no color, but he felt that this was the color of time. Taking a deep breath, Ning Qing quickly left the place. Hundreds of thousands of people entered the time wilderness, yet he did not even see a single person. From this, it could be seen that this time wilderness was definitely not small. Not only that, even with his starry sky sea of consciousness, his spiritual consciousness could only sweep out within a radius of 100 miles. A day later, Ning Qing stopped in the middle of a withered thorny forest. This place finally had a little bit of color, at least it was a lot brighter. There were also a lot of plants here, although all of these plants were dead. Finding a secluded place in the thorns forest, Ning Qing took out 3 maps. 2 of the maps were given to him by Ruan Mingshu. One was the map of the Ruan clan, while the other was a map that could be bought on the streets of the Striking Order Star Land. As for the third map, Ning Qing had spent 110 million green coins at the auction to purchase it as a spendthrift. Ning Qing compared the 2 maps given to him by Ruan Mingshu and found that they were indeed very different. Although these 2 maps were jade strip maps, the Ruan clan's map not only marked more places, but also more than twice the size of the 2 maps. Carefully looking at the map he had bought at the auction, he found that it was not a jade strip map, but a leather scroll made from unknown materials. The things marked on the leather scroll were almost the same as the ordinary jade strip maps, but the graphics were a bit rougher. Ning Qing couldn't help but shake his head. He would not get angry over 100 million green coins. Among the many people at the auction, he was the only one who ended up being cheated. This was simply bullying him for not knowing the ropes. Just when Ning Qing was about to put away the leather scroll map, he suddenly noticed a bright spot on the leather scroll. Ning Qing felt sure that this bright spot was not there when he took it out, which made him stop his action of putting away the map. However, Ning Qing soon discovered that this bright spot was actually a directional indicator, pointing in a fixed direction. Was this really a different map? Ning Qing felt pleasantly surprised in his heart. He guessed that the map in his hand was most likely the same one that Fu Shogun was looking for. Ning Qing knew that his cultivation was still a bit lacking. He had originally planned to find a place to go into seclusion for a while to see if he could improve his cultivation before going out to look for Wan Mingshu. But now that he found this map with a directional indicator, Ning Qing immediately gave up on his seclusion. No matter who left this map, or where it pointed to, he had to go and take a look. Ning Qing did not know how big this time wilderness was, but even after following this directional indicator for a few days, he did not meet a single person. Apart from the desolate surroundings, it was still desolate. No wonder it was called the wilderness. After walking around the time wilderness for a few days, compared to when he first came in, Ning Qing had already grown accustomed to the fear of his life slipping away. On the 12th day, Ning Qing stopped at a dry well. It was strange to see a well in the time wilderness. After all, a well was something that could only be seen in the mortal world. What made it even more strange was that this well was very shallow. Even without using his spiritual consciousness, with the help of the grayish light around him, he could see the bottom of the well with his eyes. Apart from a few rocks and some broken soil, there was nothing else inside. Ning Qing opened the leather scroll map and compared it to the one in front of him. Sure enough, the bright spot on the leather scroll map pointed to the bottom of the well. He carefully searched the bottom of the well with his spiritual consciousness, but found nothing. Ning Qing did not believe that anyone would be so bored as to make such a map to play tricks on others. Thinking of this, Ning Qing put away the map and jumped into the well. After falling into the well, Ning Qing knew that something was wrong. This well, whether using his spiritual consciousness or his eyes, did not exceed 3 meters. However, after he jumped in, the well seemed to have turned into a bottomless pit, causing him to sink deeper and deeper. Moreover, the speed of his descent was also getting faster and faster. Ning Qing felt horrified in his heart. If this continued, wouldn't he end up falling to his death? However, even if Ning Qing desperately tried to circulate his celestial essence, it was useless. His falling speed still kept increasing. Horrified, Ning Qing crazily stimulated the twin wings of the heavenly clouds. To Ning Qing's relief, although the twin wings of the heavenly clouds did not stop his falling figure, it did not increase his speed. In fact, it even started to slow down slowly. Just when Ning Qing wanted to speed up the twin wings of the heavenly clouds, his legs gave out a crisp "kacha" sound. At this moment, he fell to the bottom of the well. Ning Qing took in a deep breath. Fortunately, he had the twin wings of the heavenly clouds. Fortunately, he was a body-forging god, otherwise, he would have ended up as a starry sky cultivator. Not caring about his broken legs, Ning Qing immediately swept out with his spiritual consciousness. He found that he was surrounded by all kinds of skeletons. Because of the airflow fluctuations caused by his fall, these seemingly safe and sound skeletons instantly turned into flying ash. When he looked up again, where could he see the mouth of the well? Even his spiritual consciousness could not find the mouth of the well. Ning Qing sucked in a breath of cold air. What the hell was this place? The surrounding rich starry sky essence qi made Ning Qing feel slightly relieved. At least in this place, there would not be any problems for him to cultivate. As long as he could cultivate, with the twin wings of the heavenly clouds, he would eventually be able to climb up. Ning Qing did not expect that just after entering the time wilderness, he would fall into such a terrifying dry well. For Ning Qing, breaking both of his legs was not a very serious injury. Under the operation of his celestial essence, it only took him half an incense stick worth of time to fully recover from his injuries. Ning Qing stood up and walked around the bottom of the well. The bottom of the well was not very big, only about 3 feet in radius. Some of the fallen cultivators' skeletons were scattered all over the place, and with just a single step, these skeletons would turn into flying ash. As for the storage rings, Ning Qing did not see any of them. After wandering around for half a day, Ning Qing found a hidden array entrance in a corner. The array entrance was not complicated, and Ning Qing easily opened the array entrance and walked in. It was a small stone house with a praying mat in the middle of the stone house. Other than that, there was nothing else. Ning Qing's spiritual consciousness tried to grab it but could not pick up the praying mat. What kind of praying mat was this? Ning Qing walked up to the praying mat with some doubts, bent down and grabbed it with his hand again. An extremely rich starry sky's essence qi instantly filled his entire body, and the comfortable feeling made the feeling of his life slipping away disappear without a trace. Good stuff, Ning Qing felt pleasantly surprised. Since his cultivation advanced to the celestial novice realm, he had not felt this way for a long time. If he cultivated on this praying mat, his cultivation would definitely rise by leaps and bounds. His cultivation progressed slowly, which made Ning Qing deeply feel the difficulty of survival. Now that there was such a good place to cultivate, how could he miss it? After using his spiritual consciousness to check that the praying mat did not have any problems, Ning Qing did not hesitate to operate the mysterious yellow formless and start cultivating on the praying mat. The rich starry sky essence qi almost turned into a solid substance as it poured out from the praying mat and completely surrounded Ning Qing. Oh! Chapter 538. With such rich starry sky essence qi, Ning Qing did not feel even the slightest hindrance in absorbing it. Ning Qing did not know how long it had been since he cultivated in such a carefree manner. What his mysterious yellow formless lacked the most was resources that could satisfy his cultivation needs, and this kind of cultivation environment was a kind of resource. Ning Cheng's meridians started to expand and toughen under the crazy absorption, while the intensity of his celestial essence also started to grow slowly. At the same time, Ning Cheng's cultivation also started to crazily improve with every passing moment. It was extremely rare for bottlenecks to appear in the mysterious yellow formless, but now that Ning Cheng was crazily absorbing the spiritual energy, he could not even see any bottlenecks. Advancing from middle-stage celestial novice realm to late-stage celestial novice realm was like water flowing into a canal. Even after Ning Cheng advanced from late-stage celestial novice realm to full-circle celestial novice realm, he still did not stop cultivating. Bang! A dull sound came from outside, causing Ning Cheng to wake up, as he suddenly opened his eyes. He didn't know how long he had been cultivating here, but to him, it was as simple as an instant. Checking his cultivation, he found that it had already reached the full circle of the celestial novice realm. This kind of cultivation was simply too pleasurable. Since he had reached the full circle of the celestial novice realm, he should have already gone out to face the tribulation to advance to the celestial shatterer realm. When he truly advanced to the celestial shatterer realm, if he met that Lu Pingchuan again, he would not have to fear him, unless that fellow desperately advanced to the celestial bridge realm. However, Ning Cheng had heard that it was extremely difficult to advance from the celestial scryer realm to the celestial bridge realm. Besides, Ning Cheng believed that Lu Pingchuan would not be in a hurry to advance to the celestial bridge realm. This fellow also planned to represent the striking order Starry Skies in the tournament, so why would he be in a hurry to advance to the celestial bridge realm? Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness swept out to the outside of the house and found a celestial shatterer cultivator who had just fallen out of the well. The sound a moment ago was the sound of his landing. This cultivator clearly did not have as good of a luck as Ning Cheng. Not only did his corporeal body collapse, even his essence spirit swayed within the well in a daze. Before the primordial spirit could make a choice, a black hand suddenly appeared and grabbed the primordial spirit. Ning Cheng couldn't help but shudder. He did not even notice where this black hand had come from, moreover when he had landed before, he also did not see this black hand. Hurry up and leave, this is not a place to stay for long. Ning Cheng was just about to stand up when he felt an even more violent starry sky essence chi rushing towards him. He could only continue operating the mysterious yellow formless. Ka ka ka. His meridians broke and reformed one after another, while his Zifu crazily expanded. Even his starry skies sea of consciousness started to become active. No, this is not right, this is a sign of advancement. Ning Cheng was greatly shocked in his heart. He hadn't even gone out to face the tribulation, so how did he advance? He had heard that each of the 3 stages of nirvana was a process of nirvana. Therefore, it was not strange for the meridians to reorganize. However, advancing to the celestial shatterer realm without thunder tribulation really made no sense. However, the facts did not allow Ning Cheng to continue thinking about it. At this moment, he could only desperately operate the mysterious yellow formless and crazily absorb the rich starry sky essence chi coming from under the praying mat. The mysterious yellow formless, with the help of the mysterious yellow origin, was indeed incomparably formidable. Even the broken meridians in his body started to reform, making them even more tenacious. The starry skies sea of consciousness expanded once again, and Ning Cheng could even feel a trace of starry skies aura within the starry skies within his sea of consciousness. His powerful spiritual sense swept out once more, and his surroundings became even clearer. Sure enough, after advancing to the early stage celestial shatterer realm, not only did his celestial essence increase exponentially, but even his starry skies sea of consciousness had reached a new level. Ning Cheng stood up. He felt that this place was very strange. What bothered him the most was that he did not experience any thunder tribulation when he advanced to the celestial shatterer realm. Moreover, he also felt that the starry sky essence chi on the praying mat below him had decreased by a lot. If he continued to cultivate in this place, the effects would be greatly reduced. However, he did not let go of this praying mat and grabbed it again. What made Ning Cheng pleasantly surprised was that this time he was able to easily pick up the praying mat. After putting away the praying mat, Ning Cheng immediately felt that the starry sky's essence chi around him had returned to normal. Sure enough, it was all because of this praying mat. Young man, not only did you use my treasure for cultivation, but you also took away my treasure. Isn't this a bit too much? How can you be so excessive? You have to know that this cultivation treasure is something that I will have to use in the future. Although it is the same whether you take it or not, but when I want to use it, I will have to take it out from you. A sudden voice arrived. At the beginning, it sounded like an expert, but at the end, it turned into a long-winded voice. Ning Cheng immediately brought out his Nirvana spear, while thinking about who was this person. Ning Cheng guessed that this voice belonged to the Black Hand from before. That Black Hand had grabbed the essence spirit of a cultivator who had just fallen to his death, however, it did not touch him. Since this praying mat is yours, I will leave it to you. Now that I have to leave, please remove the restrictions around this well. Ning Cheng spoke in a calm tone. That Black Hand did not grab him, it definitely was not because he was special. Maybe it was because he had a corporeal body, and this Black Hand could not do anything to him. Young man, you are too impatient. You can cultivate until you reach the celestial gatherer realm, and then I can go out. Wouldn't that be great? This way, you can save time, and also have two big advantages. The voice came again. What do you mean? Ning Cheng interrupted the long-winded voice with a calm tone, while carefully using his spiritual consciousness to protect his body. The voice gave a smile. Someone came here again, it must be the time wilderness opening again. I am just a essence spirit, what are you so nervous about? Originally, I could have used this time to devour some essence spirits to strengthen myself. At the same time, you could also use the essence gathering praying mat to cultivate. By the time you reach the celestial gatherer realm, my essence spirit would also have grown a lot stronger. At that time, wouldn't it be perfect for us to merge into one? So you wanted to take over my body. Did you put out that map? Ning Cheng had already found the source of the voice, which was the stone wall of the house he was in. Ha! Although the voice was laughing, its voice was very sharp. Young man, what map? Don't say it in such a bad way. How can you say that you want to take over my body? This is fusion, do you understand? What I find strange is that even after advancing to the celestial shatterer realm, you still don't have a celestial wheel. After the voice spoke about celestial wheels, it completely faded away. Ning Cheng felt a stabbing pain in his sea of consciousness, and a vague shadow with a face appeared in his sea of consciousness. This shadow was not a human figure, but a vague bull-headed shadow. Ning Cheng felt shocked in his heart. A beast wanted to take over his body. What surprised him even more was that he did not have the time to prevent the bull-headed essence spirit from entering his sea of consciousness. What a powerful method. Essence spirit, come, let me eat another one. After this vague bull-headed shadow spoke those words, a black hand formed in Ning Cheng's sea of consciousness and raised it to grab at him. Ning Cheng felt his sea of consciousness turning black, as if his entire soul wanted to leave him. I must not let this bastard take over my body. Ning Cheng bit the tip of his tongue and blasted out the everlasting blue thunder city. Countless lightning bolts struck the bull-headed shadow with a vague face, followed by a shrill scream, who are you? You can even bring out a weapon in your sea of consciousness. What kind of weapon is this? Ah, no, what is this sea of consciousness? Why does it look like a starry sky? Ning Cheng did not care about the screams of the bull-headed shadow with a vague face. This was not the first time someone tried to take over his body. Moreover, he was the least afraid of others trying to take over his body. If he had been more careful and stretched out his celestial river fusion domain, this bull-headed shadow would not have been able to enter his sea of consciousness. Pitter-patter. The lightning arcs bombarded the bull-headed shadow with a vague face. The bull-headed shadow continued to scream, and its figure grew more and more blurry. I'm going to swallow you. This bull-headed shadow with a vague face no longer had the calmness from before. Instead, it crazily tried to devour Ning Cheng's essence spirit. Celestial River, come for me. Ning Cheng did not show even half a shred of politeness towards this thing that wanted to take over his body. He once again brought out the celestial river flame. The vague essence spirit could not hold on under the attacks of the everlasting Blue Thunder City. Facing the horrifying celestial river flame, it instantly issued a tearing cry. Let me out, I was wrong, let me go. The bull-headed essence spirit screamed sharply in Ning Cheng's starry sky sea of consciousness. However, its screams were getting softer and softer. The everlasting Blue Thunder City had already beaten it to the point that it wanted to die. Coupled with the burning of the celestial river flame, it turned even more dispirited. Ning Cheng raised his hand and grasped. The next moment, the vague essence spirit within his sea of consciousness fell into his hand. Big brother, senior. Spare me. Just let me go like a fart. I will never dare to try to take over your body again. The dispirited bull-headed essence spirit held in Ning Cheng's hand and screamed miserably. Where was the slightest bit of the old man's appearance from before? Am I old? Ning Cheng did not want to kill this essence spirit. He originally wanted to ask this essence spirit some questions, but he did not expect this bull-headed essence spirit to turn out to be such a top-grade item. The bull-headed essence spirit quickly spoke up, No, you are handsome, elegant, young and promising, the first in the starry sky, unparalleled in the universe. Stop. Ning Cheng felt goosebumps all over his body as he called out to the bull-headed essence spirit to stop. He had made a mistake. This essence spirit was not a top-grade item, but a skit. When the bull-headed essence spirit heard the word stop, it immediately stopped speaking. In Ning Cheng's view, it was even more powerful than the most powerful breaks. How much do you know about the time wilderness? Let me see if you have any value in existence. Ning Cheng stared at the bull-headed essence spirit and spoke with a sneer. The bull-headed essence spirit quickly spoke up again, I know a lot, I have value in existence, I have a lot of value in existence. Less nonsense, hurry up and speak. Ning Cheng squeezed the essence spirit's shadow, which was almost half dead due to the celestial river flame. The bull-headed essence spirit quickly spoke up, I know about the Echo Waterfall, I also know about the Sea of Twilight, I also know, a lot, a lot. Do you know about the Perpetual Moon Lake? Ning Cheng's heart moved. I know, I know, I know, I know, I absolutely know. My master took me there before, so I definitely know about the Perpetual Moon Lake. As long as you spare my life, I promise to take you to the Perpetual Moon Lake. The bull-headed life essence spoke up in a hurry, using many words to describe it. From the looks of it, this bull-headed essence spirit still had a lot of value. Ning Cheng really did not want to kill this essence spirit at this moment. I don't want to kill you, but you are just an essence spirit, how can you follow me? When Ning Cheng heard this bull-headed essence spirit speak about his master, he guessed that this bull-headed essence spirit must have been brought in by a cultivator. The bull-headed essence spirit looked at Ning Cheng and spoke up, my master left behind a big ring here. As long as you let me go, I will immediately take it out. This ring has everything inside it. In addition, I had been staying in the praying mat before. You don't have any room to bargain, hurry up and take it. Ning Cheng raised his hand and pulled out a trace of the bull-headed essence spirit before throwing it out. If you wanted to give the praying mat to this bull-headed essence spirit, then don't even think about it. Yes, yes, I'll go get it right away. The bull-headed essence spirit spoke up in an incomparably flattering tone. Chapter 539. An hour later, Ning Cheng finally figured out what was going on. The space within the ring that Ox had found was indeed huge. Moreover, its level was also far higher than Ning Cheng's pocket world. It was almost at the level of a high-grade Dao artifact. It could even accommodate one's essence spirit. However, the things inside did not arouse Ning Cheng's interest. Apart from a high-grade Dao artifact, there were only some empty jade boxes and some worthless ordinary rings. The bull-headed primordial spirit would usually hide inside the praying mat. Whenever a cultivator descended, the bull-headed primordial spirit would devour the cultivator's primordial spirits to cultivate itself. Therefore, it had no idea how many good things were inside the ring. The bull-headed life essence turned out to be a wind-seeking longevity bull. Hearing this name, Ning Cheng almost laughed out loud. It was no wonder that this fellow had lived to this day. His name was Longevity Ox. Its master had fallen in the Sea of Twilight. The life essence of the wind-seeking longevity bull had taken its master's ring and escaped into this dry well. Since then, it had never come out. As for the way the wind-seeking longevity bull spoke, it was because before it was caught, it wanted to imitate its fallen master and pretend to be an expert. After being caught by Ning Cheng, he completely forgot his directions and only knew how to beg for mercy. How long have I been cultivating here? Ning Cheng bluntly took out the ring that the wind-seeking longevity bull had taken out and put it on his hand before asking. He intended to use this ring for himself. The wind-seeking longevity bull did not dare to express even half a word of dissatisfaction and carefully replied, "It's been more than 2 years. Master, you started cultivating as soon as you came in and advanced to the celestial Shadow realm. I'm not your master. Don't mistake me for someone else. I'll return your primordial spirit to you. You can continue to stay here and devour your life essence. I'm leaving." Ning Cheng pulled out a trace of his life essence and threw it towards the wind-seeking longevity bull. Apart from its longevity, this cow did not have much use. Although it knew a few places, it could not say anything about it. Although it said that it knew about the perpetual moon lake, it was only because its former owner had pointed it in a certain direction. In order to save his life, this bull had no bottom line in his words. Although Ning Cheng did not want to kill this long-winded wind-seeking longevity bull, but he also did not want to bring it along with him. "Master, please take me away. I've been in this black well for who knows how many years. Even primordial spirits can only eat a few times, so I'm still very useful. My name is Wind-Chasing Longevity Ox. Not only do I live for a long time, but I am also very fast. When I recover my physical body in the future, I will definitely be of great help to Master." The wind-seeking longevity bull spoke up in a pitiful voice. If Ning Cheng took away its praying mat, then how could it stay in this place? Ning Cheng hesitated for a long time before speaking. "I can take you away, but if you dare to have even half a shred of disloyalty, I will help you restore your corporeal body." The wind-chasing longevity bull was startled. "You have ulterior motives, yet you are helping me restore my body. But no matter how disloyal I am, I have no way to deal with your incomparably terrifying sea of consciousness." Ning Cheng looked at the wind-seeking longevity bull and sneered, "Then I will stew you whole, add some shallots, and slowly eat the whole pot of beef soup." The wind-seeking longevity bull shivered and quickly said, "I have no disloyalty, I definitely have no disloyalty. I am loyal and devoted, my loyalty is unparalleled." "Shut up." Ning Cheng stopped the wind-seeking longevity bull and spoke, "I'll call you Little Chase from now on. If you perform well in the time wilderness, I will take you out and restore your corporeal body. As for whether it will turn into beef soup or not, it will depend on your performance." The wind-seeking longevity bull shivered a few more times and did not dare to continue talking. Ning Cheng threw the essence spirit of the wind-seeking longevity bull into the essence-gathering praying mat, and then threw the praying mat into his ring before activating the twin wings of the heavenly clouds. When he first fell down, it did not take him long. But now that he wanted to fly up, even if he advanced to the celestial Shadow realm, it would still take a lot of effort. Ning Cheng did not know what this well contained, but the powerful suction force had forced Ning Cheng to spend half a month before he finally rushed out. The first thing Ning Cheng did after rushing out of the well was to head to Moon Creek. He and Yuan Mingshu had made an appointment to go to Moon Creek. Now that more than 2 years had passed, he did not know if Yuan Mingshu was still in Moon Creek or not. Moon Creek was not a stream. According to Yuan Mingshu, it was just a dried-up river. In fact, it was not even a dried-up river. After Ning Cheng arrived here, he felt that this place could only be regarded as a basin. After Ning Cheng advanced to the celestial Shatterer realm, although he still did not have a celestial wheel, his spiritual consciousness had soared, allowing him to sweep out within a radius of 200 to 300 miles. However, he could not find Yuan Mingshu's shadow around, nor did he find any marks left by Yuan Mingshu. Yuan Mingshu hadn't come here yet? Ning Cheng felt a little puzzled. He did not come here in time, not because he failed to keep his appointment, but because he was trapped at the bottom of the well. But for what reason did Yuan Mingshu not come here in time? The celestial river essence chi in this dried-up river was only average, so Ning Cheng decided to wait here for a while. The main reason was that he had not yet stabilized his celestial Shatterer cultivation. He had just advanced to the celestial Shatterer realm when Little Chase, that stupid bull, woke him up. Instead of looking for a place to stabilize his cultivation, it was better to stay in Moon Creek and wait for Yuan Mingshu while stabilizing his cultivation. 2 months passed by in a flash, and Ning Cheng's cultivation stabilized at the early stage celestial Shatterer realm. During this period, Yuan Mingshu did not come here. Ning Cheng started to think about leaving this place and looking for the perpetual moon lake alone. Yuan Mingshu had not come for a few months, so he could not just wait here, right? Maybe Yuan Mingshu had come here, but did not wait for him and left. Besides, although that stupid bull boasted a bit, Ning Cheng could still make out the approximate location of the perpetual moon lake. Just at this moment, a figure dashed over to this side. Ning Cheng immediately stopped the idea of going out. This was the first time he had seen another cultivator since entering the Time Wilderness. This figure quickly arrived at the dried-up river of Moon Creek, and Ning Cheng could clearly see that it was Yuan Mingshu. After more than 2 years, Yuan Mingshu's aura had grown much stronger than before. From this, it showed that Ning Cheng was not the only one who had a fortuitous encounter in the Time Wilderness. Not waiting for Ning Cheng to come out, another figure quickly arrived. This figure, just as Ning Cheng had guessed, was Zhao Yanxiang. Mingshu, why didn't you listen to me and came to this place? Zhao Yanxiang landed in front of Yuan Mingshu and spoke with a slight complaint. His aura had also grown a bit stronger than before. Over the past 2 years in the Time Wilderness, he had made a lot of progress. I promised senior apprentice brother Ning Cheng that I would wait for him here. Yuan Mingshu replied calmly. Zhao Yanxiang suddenly stepped forward and pulled Yuan Mingshu's hand. Mingshu, it's been so long, who knows if Ning Cheng is still alive or not. Since he offended Lu Pingchuan, he would never let this person go. Besides, I don't believe that the two of us can't enter the perpetual moon lake. After saying that, Zhao Yanxiang exerted some force and pulled Yuan Mingshu into his arms. Yuan Mingshu turned around and pushed Zhao Yanxiang away. Senior apprentice brother Yanxiang, I don't like it. Well, if you don't like it, then I won't do it. Then can we go to the perpetual moon lake first? Zhao Yanxiang simply let go of Yuan Mingshu. I said that I would wait for senior apprentice brother Ning. Yuan Mingshu frowned. Don't we need a cultivator with a powerful spiritual consciousness for a blood sacrifice? Can't we just sneak attack a cultivator and take him to the perpetual moon lake for a blood sacrifice? Oh. Zhao Yanxiang suddenly spoke with some dissatisfaction. Yuan Mingshu stared at Zhao Yanxiang in amazement. You know about the blood sacrifice? Of course I know. Zhao Yanxiang replied, but he sneered in his heart. If not for Ning Cheng's blood sacrifice, how could he tolerate Yuan Mingshu staying in Ning Cheng for the night? Seeing Wan Mingshu's expression changing, Zhao Yanxiang once again stepped forward and hugged Wan Mingshu before opening his mouth to kiss her. Wan Mingshu's face turned angry as she pushed Zhao Yanxiang away and spoke, "Senior apprentice brother Yanxiang, you just said that if I don't like it, you wouldn't do it." Zhao Yanxiang did not know if it was because of Ning Cheng, but he finally felt some anger. "Junior apprentice sister Mingshu, you can sleep with Ning Cheng, but I can't kiss you. Who exactly is your Dao companion?" Wan Mingshu's angry face suddenly calmed down. She looked at Zhao Yanxiang and spoke with a calm voice, "Senior apprentice brother Zhao, you are not my Dao companion. Please don't misunderstand your priorities. We are just cooperating. I sleep with Ning Cheng because I like sleeping with him. You have no right to interfere in my affairs." Zhao Yanxiang's face stiffened, and he spoke up in a slow tone, "Mingshu, my words just now were a bit heavy. I care too much about you, so my words were a bit heavy. Please don't take it to heart." "Ha, junior apprentice sister Mingshu, I didn't expect that I would come at the right time. Did I keep you waiting?" Ning Cheng's laughter interrupted Zhao Yanxiang's words. Wan Mingshu, on seeing Ning Cheng, immediately showed a surprised expression on her face. Then she remembered something, and her expression changed again. "Senior apprentice brother Ning, I just arrived." "Did you just arrive here?" "Yes, I just arrived here." "Oh, junior apprentice brother Zhao is also here. That's for the best. Let's go together." Ning Cheng seemed to have just seen Zhao Yanxiang and added a sentence in surprise. He did not know that Zhao Yanxiang's cultivation and age were much higher than his. Zhao Yanxiang gave a few dry laughs. "Okay, let's go together." Wan Mingshu led the way, and the three of them headed towards the perpetual moon lake together. However, none of the three people spoke, as if each had their own thoughts. "Senior apprentice brother Ning, did you really just arrive at Moon Creek?" After running for a few days, Wan Mingshu finally could not help but take the initiative to ask. Ning Cheng replied in doubt, "Yes, did I keep you waiting for a long time?" "No, how could that be? After I came in, I found a celestial essence spring and cultivated for more than a year. I'm afraid that you might have waited for a long time and felt a little anxious. By the way, over the past 2 years, did senior apprentice brother Ning find anything good in the Time Wilderness?" Wan Mingshu gave a dry reply. "My luck has always been good, so I found a few celestial essence springs and cultivated for more than a year. Although I have yet to cultivate a celestial wheel, I feel that I have made a lot of progress." Ning Cheng gave a smile. Zhao Yanxiang, on seeing Ning Cheng and Wan Mingshu talking, felt as if he had become an outsider, quickly took the initiative to speak up. "Mingshu, how far is the perpetual moon lake?" "Very far." Wan Mingshu replied with an expressionless face before turning silent again. Boom! A violent explosion once again broke the silence. Wan Mingshu stopped and looked at the place where the violent explosion came from before frowning and speaking, "That's in the direction of the perpetual moon lake." You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.